Every time I scroll past a story where the male lead hits his 100 disappointments limit and finally walks away from an angsty romance novel, I can't help but burst out laughing. Why give women so many chances to hurt you? A smart man should, the moment he realizes the relationship is toxic, withdraw without a second thought. So, when I transmigrated into the husband of a female CEO in a political marriage, I decided to be the perfect obedient spouse.
That's why, when the CEO,
wanting me to stay out of her and her white moonlight's way, handed me an unlimited black card, I took it and ran to a mall 10 miles away to start a wild shopping spree. If I can't have the woman's heart, why shouldn't I spend her money? In an elegant private room of a high-end Western restaurant, Gyu Qinghan's phone kept buzzing. She glanced indifferently at the screen and took a slow, deliberate sip of her red wine. Chen Zhe looked at her, his eyes filled with both love and restraint. Sister Qinghan, today is your wedding anniversary. If you do this, what will Brother Chen think of me?
you don't need to care what he thinks.
Gyu Qinghan's phone buzzed again. This time, she picked it up to look. Your account ending in 888 has spent 19,999 yuan. Your account ending in 8,888 has spent 500,000 yuan. In 2 years of marriage, this was the first time I'd ever swiped her card. Gyu Qinghan traced her finger over the screen, a cold smirk playing on her lips, her gaze unreadable. Chen Zhe bit his lip. Sister Qinghan, maybe you should go back. Before Gyu Qinghan could speak, another notification arrived. Your account ending in 888 has spent 688,888 yuan. For the first time, I felt the joy of spending money without looking at the price tag. Enjoying the kind of service reserved for royalty. The shopping urge I'd suppressed for over 20 years was spiraling out of control. Luxury watches, sports cars, high-end suits. It wasn't enough. It was never enough. Gyu Qinghan's phone continued to buzz intermittently. She stopped checking it, but the atmosphere at the table became noticeably silent and suffocating. By the time the meal was over, her phone had buzzed 18 times. She only glanced at it after paying the bill. Just as she was about to put it away, Su Jingyao called. Qinghan, I have something to tell you about your husband, but I'm not sure if I should. Even through the screen, Gyu Qinghan could sense Su Jingyao's smirk. She frowned coldly. Just say it. Su Jingyao couldn't help but laugh out loud. I just saw your husband at a club. He called 7 models at once. If you don't get over here, you're about to be cheated on. Mu Chen at a club with 7 models. How is that possible? Gyu Qinghan didn't believe it. She laughed in spite of her anger. Are you blind? Don't even start. Your husband is dressed so differently today. I almost didn't recognize him. Su Jingyao sent her a photo. In the photo was a man with clean, short hair, wearing a high-end black casual suit and expensive custom-made leather shoes. Even just from the back, one could tell he was incredibly handsome. Su Jingyao sent another message. Do you even recognize your own husband? Gyu Qinghan once again felt that the other woman must be blind. This is Mu Chen. No way. Sister Qinghan, maybe you should go back. I can watch the movie by myself. Gyu Qinghan put her phone away, unmoved, and went to the movie with Chen Zhe. Chen Zhe posted on his social feed, commemorating the premiere of his first movie. 20 minutes later, Gyu Qinghan received another spending notification. I had just topped up 1 million yuan at the Royal Entertainment Club. She couldn't sit still anymore. Inside the club's private suite, the lights flickered amidst a scene of decadence. I leaned back on the sofa, enjoying myself, sipping wine that cost over 100,000 a bottle. 7 models with perfect figures were waiting on me hand and foot. One was tending to the nearly healed wound on my forehead. One sat on the sofa, massaging my legs. One stood behind me, kneading my shoulders. One was peeling fruit for me. The others were singing and dancing. This service was truly a slice of heaven on earth. This was a scene I had imagined countless times. I was beyond satisfied. So, when the manager approached me with an offer, I waved my hand and used Gyu Qinghan's card to drop a 1 million yuan deposit. Gyu Qinghan pushed open the door to the private suite. She saw me touching a model's collarbone, unable to take my hands off her, like I'd never seen a woman before. Not a bad feel. How long have you been training? Sir, I have them too. Do you want to feel? The young, beautiful models competed to show off their figures. I was staring so hard I almost got a nosebleed. The rich life is truly the best. I was about to touch a bit more when a loud bang echoed, followed by a cold shout. Everyone get the hell out! I didn't expect Gyu Qinghan to show up and ruin the fun. I gave the model's waist one last lingering squeeze. You girls head out first. I'll find you when I'm free. Gyu Qinghan's face darkened. She looked like the sky right before a thunderstorm. Soon, only the two of us were left in the room. I leaned back on the sofa and looked her over. She truly lived up to being the woman the original owner fell for at first sight. A face that instantly made those models look like plain Janes. Sharp brows, cold eyes, a high bridge, and deep features. Her face was so perfectly sculpted, it looked like a masterpiece. Her long pink dress draped elegantly, accentuating her graceful figure. A pleated skirt that hit just at the knee paired with black over-the-knee stockings. It perfectly showcased her tall, enviable legs. Even just standing there with her hands on her hips, she exuded a fiery charm. It was enough to make anyone drool. If she were a model, damn, I couldn't help but imagine her as a model. When I heard her furious voice, using my money to come here and cheat on me. Miu Chen, do you really think I won't do anything to you? Gu Qinghan looked at me with a grim expression. For the first time, she couldn't help but really look at me. My old dorky hairstyle had been replaced with a clean, refreshing shortcut. I spoke up boldly.
What do you mean your money? We're married.
Isn't your money my money? You can spend money on your white moonlight, wine him, and dine him. Why can't I spend money to find some company? When you were having candlelit dinners and watching movies with Chen Zhe, I didn't say you were cheating, and I didn't bother you. I just found a few people to help me relax. And yet you come charging in here all furious. Not only is it beneath you, but if Chen Zhe saw this, he'd think you actually liked me. Like you're jealous or something? I wasn't afraid of her at all. The book repeatedly described her disgust for the original owner, to the point where even a single touch made her nauseous. In short, she was allergic to the original owner's touch. Her getting physical with me would be like hurting herself. So even if we shared a bed, I'd be perfectly safe. Gu Qinghan laughed out of pure anger and grabbed my chin. Her cold, mocking expression suggested she had seen right through me.
Stop acting.
You intentionally swiped my card and made such a scene, just to get me to come here, didn't you? I looked up at her, my palm gently resting on her waist. Through the thin fabric, I traced her curves. Then, does you leaving Chen Zhe behind to come here prove that I'm more important to you than he is? Gu Qinghan's face darkened instantly as she gripped my wrist tight. She tightened her grip even more. I told you not to push your luck with me. You're delusional. This is the last time. If I ever catch you using the name Mr. Gu to do something that embarrasses the Gu family again, your time as Mr. Gu will be officially over. With that, she shoved me away in disgust and grabbed a tissue to wipe her hand. Just like the book said, she loathed any physical contact with me. I almost laughed to myself. I rubbed my chin and sat back down on the sofa, crossing my legs and looking up at her indifferently. You won't let me sleep with you. And as for this Mr. Gu title, I've been done with it for a long time. Throw the divorce agreement my way right now. If I hesitate for even a second, I'm a dog. Gu Qinghan paused and glanced at me. A smirk slowly spread across her lips. Divorce? Are you sure? You went through so much trouble to marry me. Just a moment ago, you were acting like you couldn't get enough of me. Now, you're talking about divorce. What a joke. My gaze lingered on her face for a moment before drifting down. My look was casual and blatant. I left the choice to her. Either let me sleep with you or we divorce. Gu Qinghan's face went dark immediately. Right in front of me, she called her assistant. Shu Yao, draft a divorce agreement. Have it sent to the house first thing tomorrow morning. The original owner loved her to death. Even without her love, he refused to divorce. He insisted on forcing it, only to end up with his family destroyed. There are millions of women in this world. Why would I stubbornly rush toward my own death? Not that stupid. I picked up the half-finished glass of wine and downed it. I set the glass down and stood up. I spoke as if she was the one losing out by not letting me stay. It's your choice. Don't regret it. Gu Qinghan laughed in frustration. I didn't even give her a second look. I put on my coat and grabbed my new watch and phone. I strode out the door. Gu Qinghan watched me from behind. I didn't care about my rich young master image at all. She was convinced I was just drunk. That was the only reason I dared to stand up to her and demand a divorce. I took her car home and neither of us said a word the whole way. I went straight upstairs to my room. Gu Qinghan's mind replayed the scene. The image of me demanding a divorce tonight made her scoff. She wanted to see what kind of face I did make tomorrow when that divorce paper was thrown at me. As she passed my room, she heard my voice. It echoed from inside, making her stop in her tracks. I was in my room, singing at the top of my lungs. Today is a good day. Everything you wish for can come true. Tomorrow will be another good day. Golden time waits for no one. I want to fly into the sky and stand beside the sun. The world is waiting for me to change it. Never be afraid of others seeing the dreams you want to achieve. They can all come true right here with me. Gu Qinghan listened to my drunken wolf-like howling. She stopped, intending to put an end to my madness. But when she turned the handle, she realized I had locked the door. The man who usually tried every trick in the book to seduce her the moment she got home. The man who wanted to sleep with her had locked his door. I kept howling. I believe that I am me. I believe in tomorrow. I believe youth has no limits. By the seashore at sunset, Gu Qinghan, seeing how drunk I was, finally turned and walked away. The room I stayed in was the master bedroom. Because Gu Qinghan refused to share a room with the original owner, she chose to sleep in the guest room. Now, this place had become the original owner's private sanctuary. I looked around the massive, luxurious room. I touched the expensive watches in the cabinet and the rows of designer clothes in the wardrobe. I sang happily as I did. I soaked in a bathtub big enough for two. I put on pajamas that felt amazing against my skin. I lay on the large, soft, comfortable bed. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep at all. It felt like a dream. Too good to be true. The next morning, Gu Qinghan woke up. There was no breakfast waiting for her on the table like usual. She glanced at my door and couldn't help but smirk. As expected, now that Hez sober, Hez terrified. Hez trying to hide like a coward. Recalling my demand for a divorce last night, she let out a cold sneer. She tossed the divorce papers onto the coffee table and left for work. I had never slept in a bed so comfortable, so I slept until I woke up naturally at noon. Seeing that I was still in this luxury room, I confirmed that I really had transmigrated into the book. I reviewed the plot one more time. In the book, our marriage lasted less than 3 years. In other words, in less than a year, Gu Qinghan would bankrupt the Mu family and kick me out with nothing. The book only briefly mentioned the business war. There were no details. I didn't know what tactics Gu Qinghan used, but the rich life is just too good. No matter what, I can't let the family go bankrupt. I got up, got ready, and went downstairs. I saw the divorce papers on the coffee table. I immediately picked up a pen and signed my name. Hesitating for even a second felt like a sign of disrespect toward the divorce. After signing, I took Gu Qinghan's card. I pulled it out of my pocket and placed it on top of the papers. Then, I gathered the original owner's important belongings and headed back to the Mu house. Who cares about being a villainous second male lead? I'm going back to be the protagonist of my own life. Dad saw his son return. He immediately put down the newspaper and came to greet me. Chen. Why are you back at this hour? Did Gu Qinghan bully you again? I replied, no. Dad asked, really? He took my hand, looking a bit skeptical. Usually at this time, it'd be bring you every you low. How could I have remembered them? Dad continued. Then why didn't you call before coming over? I could have had the staff prepare your favorite dishes.
When did you change your hair?
It looks good. This outfit is nice too. The man in his 40s was very well maintained. He looked at least 10 years younger than his age. When he looked at me, his eyes were full of nothing but me. As he talked to me, he called Auntie Zhang to make the dishes I liked. Every gesture radiated the joy of seeing his son. I looked at him, feeling a pang of sadness in my heart. The one thing I always wanted but never had in my past life. I unexpectedly found here, after death. Dad smiled and said, I'll call your mother. I'll tell her to come home for lunch too. Before I could stop him, he had already made the call. I took the chance to look around the house. The more I saw, the better I felt. Dad finished the call and pulled me aside to check on me. It was clear that since the original owner married Gu Qinghan, he had always worried I wasn't happy. He comforted me. Chen, if anything is wrong, you must tell us. Your parents will always be your support and your shield. I remembered being bullied by classmates at school in my past life. When I went home and told my parents, they didn't care. They just scolded me. They said, with so many students, why do they only bully you and not others? From then on, even when I was bullied, I never dared to tell them again. Looking at this handsome and warm father in front of me, and thinking about his tragic end in the book, I couldn't help but step forward and hug him. I resolved then and there to change their fate. Dad's body went stiff. How long had it been since his son hugged him like this? I spoke up decisively. Dad, sorry. I've made you both worry these past few years. It won't happen again. Hearing his son's words, Dad's eyes immediately turned red. Since his son got married, he rarely came home. Even when he did, it was always because of Gu Qinghan. He had said from the start that a forced relationship wouldn't work, but his son insisted it had to be her or no one. They only had one son who had almost died as a child. He had always been the apple of their eye because I wanted to marry her. They agreed. After the wedding, seeing me unhappy, seeing my pride and radiance slowly fade away, seeing that my world seemed to revolve only around Gu Qinghan, and how I started losing my sense of right and wrong. As a father, he saw it all, and his heart ached. Every time I came home to vent about the grievances Gu Qinghan caused, he couldn't sleep all night. He truly worried himself sick. Dad's voice trembled. I just want you to live a good life. I heard the choke in his voice and pulled back from the hug. I saw his eyes were red and filled with tears. Seeing him cry made my own eyes well up. I reached out to wipe his tears and smiled at him.
Why are you crying? Look at me, Dad.
Arant, I doing great now. Dad looked at his son, feeling that I had changed since coming home this time. Changed a lot, like I had returned to the way I was a long time ago. By the time lunch was ready, Mom had arrived. She even brought Bai Ningbing with her. Bai Ningbing was the daughter of Mom's best friend. She was 3 years older than the original owner. After her parents passed away, she had lived with her grandmother. It was hard for an elderly person to raise a child, so the Mu family took her in and raised her like their own daughter. In terms of both life and education, they sponsored her until she graduated from university. During college, she interned at the Mu group. After graduation, she became Mom's right-hand woman. I looked up at her and caught her gaze. In the story, The original owner always saw her as an older sister. When he was chasing Gu Qinghan, he often told her how much he loved Gu Qinghan and asked her for advice. The persona she showed the original owner was that of a perfect sister. She doted on him, protected him, and helped him, never crossing the line. Even the readers didn't suspect a thing, until Gu Qinghan and the original owner divorced, and she went to find him, only to witness his car accident. She held him, trembling, looking at his blood-soaked body, her eyes turning red. She kept wiping the blood from his mouth, her eyes brimming with tears. Xiao Chen, I regret it. I regret not stopping you from marrying her. The deep love in her eyes was like a mist that wouldn't dissipate. In that moment, she didn't want to hide it anymore. She wanted him to know she had loved him for many years. She tried desperately to keep him alive, but there was nothing she could do. She could only watch as his life faded away bit by bit. This was the only time the book described her inner thoughts. It was also her most shining moment in the story. It left readers surprised, happy, heartbroken, and full of regret. That was the exact moment I developed a love-hate relationship with this character. Dad called out, "Ningbing is here too." The original owner didn't know Bai Ningbing liked him. I decided to pretend I didn't know for now. Seeing Dad greet her, I also gave her a greeting. Sister Ningbing. Though they both wore short skirts, on Gu Qinghan, it looked haughty and cold, creating a sense of distance that kept people away. But on Bai Ningbing, it looked pure and elegant, giving off a friendly, warm, and gentle vibe. She looked at me, her voice carrying a hint of affection, her eyes filled with tenderness. "Short hair really does suit you better," I replied. "Right, I think so too." Bai Ningbing continued to praise me. "The clothes look great too." I smiled and said, "It looks like your taste has improved lately." The original owner of this body was always riddled with insecurity in front of Gu Qinghan, but he was always full of confidence when he was with Bai Ningbing. That was because she showered him with the kind of affection one would give a little prince. I tried my best to play the part, and I think I managed to pull it off about 80%. The other 20% felt a bit awkward, because I knew she was secretly in love with me. Bai Ningbing laughed and changed the subject. "Aren't you usually busy bringing her lunch every day? What brings you home in the middle of the day?" I toyed with my watch. "It's so hot out." She said it was too much trouble for me to bring food, so she told me to stop. As soon as I said that, not just Bai Ningbing, but even my parents who were chatting nearby, looked over. They clearly didn't believe me. It turns out the people who care about me most don't believe Gu Qinghan would ever be kind to me. Only the original Mu Chen was that naive. Bai Ningbing raised an eyebrow. "Is that for real?" I waved my hand dismissively. "Does this look like the hand of someone meant for cooking?" Bai Ningbing reached out. "Let me see." She looked up, her eyes warm and gentle. "It's beautiful. This is exactly how a guy's hand should look." Maybe it was because I knew about her secret crush, but my face felt a bit flushed while talking to her. Suddenly, I felt even more out of my element. I could go to a club and flirt with models because there were no strings attached, no feelings, no responsibility. But when it comes to actual emotions, I'm nothing but an inexperienced rookie, faced with a love I already knew about. I had no idea how to handle it. I quickly shifted the topic. "How's the company doing lately?" Bai Ningbing answered casually. "Very well." I pressed further.
How well is very well?
Bai Ningbing gave me a surprised glance. "We're currently negotiating a few major projects. If we land them, the company will reach a whole new level, taking on massive projects only to have the capital fail at the last second. The cash flow snaps, and the Gu family just stands by and watches." Could this be Gu Qinghan's actual plan? I spoke up to interrupt her thoughts. Can the company really handle projects that big? The market doesn't look great right now. The most important thing for the company is stability. You need to ensure there's plenty of liquid cash to deal with any potential risks. I couldn't say it directly, so I could only offer a vague warning. Bai Ningbing looked at me, a hint of suspicion in her eyes. "Since when did you start caring about the company's business?" The original Mu Chen never cared about the business. I realized my slip-up and rubbed the diamond on my watch. I've been around Gu Qinghan so long, some of it was bound to rub off on me. Bai Ningbing fell silent. I glanced at her, unable to stop myself from warning her one more time. "Regarding those projects, you and Mom really need to think it through. Specifically, consider the potential risks and whether we can actually survive them if things go south." Bai Ningbing stared at me, trying to read my expression. "Did you hear something from Gu Qinghan? Does she want us to drop out of the bidding so she can have the projects?" The original Mu Chen was a hopeless simp who had forced his family to help the Gu group many times, suddenly trying to stop them from taking a project. It was only natural for Bai Ningbing to think that way, I explained. "No, it's just I've been having this recurring dream lately. I dreamed our company went bankrupt and it's making me anxious." Bai Ningbing looked at me without saying a word, but she clearly wasn't buying it. I hesitated for a long time, glancing at my parents in the distance. I leaned in close to her and covered my mouth with my hand. To be honest, I overheard that Gu Qinghan wants to crush the Mu family. I immediately pulled back after saying it. Then I noticed the tips of Bai Ningbing's ears turning bright red. I didn't expect that to come off as flirting. Awkwardly, I pretended not to notice. I lowered my voice to explain further. "I'm afraid Mom and Dad won't be able to handle it, so I didn't dare tell them. I don't understand business, so I can only leave this in your hands. Bai Ningbing leaned her elbow on the back of the sofa, absent-mindedly pinching her ear as she looked at me. And what about you? What do you plan to do? Before I could answer, Dad came over to call us for dinner. Looking at the table full of delicacies, my mood instantly brightened. Dad put some food on my plate.
Eat up. You've gotten so thin lately.
I looked at the feast and swallowed hard. It had been so long since Eddie had a home-cooked meal. I was practically starving. Don't worry, after a few days at home, I'll definitely gain it all back. Hearing that, Dad kept piling food onto my plate. If you want home-cooked meals, I'll have someone deliver them to you every day from now on. I explained. That's not necessary, Dad. I'm moving back home for good. In an instant, Mom, Dad, and Bai Ningbing all froze and stared at me. I stopped eating and looked at them with total sincerity.
Mom, I'm planning to divorce Gu Qinghan.
I used to think that if I just worked hard enough, I could make her love me. But I realize now that you can't force feelings. I don't want to love her anymore. I just want to come back and be with my family. I spoke decisively, without a hint of sadness or regret. But the original Mu Chen's obsession with Gu Qinghan ran so deep that it was firmly rooted in the Mu family's minds. Mom and Dad stared at me, unable to believe I could just let go like that. They thought I was just lashing out in anger, and that it'd change my mind again very soon. Why is everyone so quiet? You're not worried about me coming back to be a freeloading son, are you? Dad finally snapped out of it. He beamed and gave me more of my favorite dish. How could you say that? You're more than welcome to stay with me. I couldn't be happier. Mom picked up her phone and immediately transferred 10 million to my card. If you want to come home, then come home. I could support you for 10 lifetimes if I had to. Parents who truly love their children are worlds apart from those who don't. I watched Dad constantly filling my bowl with delicious food and looked at the money Mom sent. It made me think of my own parents. Growing up, all the good food in the house was always reserved for my younger brother. The moment I reached out with my chopsticks, Mom would swat them away. When I wanted to go to college, I cried for days and nights, but they refused. They gave me two choices: get a job or get married. Working without a degree meant I could never find a decent job. But they never cared if I was suffering or exhausted. They only cared about how much money I made. They only complained that I didn't send enough home. They used the debt of birth to guilt trip and control me. If I died, they probably wouldn't even shed a single tear. Looking at the parents in front of me, my eyes grew misty. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Mom. From now on, you're the only ones I'll love. In the original story, after the Mu family went bankrupt, Mom couldn't handle the shock that her daughter-in-law was the mastermind behind it. Her blood pressure spiked, causing a brain hemorrhage that left her in a vegetative state. Dad couldn't bear seeing his wife like that, and combined with the shock of his son's death, he fell into a deep depression and eventually took his own life. I have to change all of that. I started putting food on their plates too. Just as I was about to set my chopsticks down, I noticed Bai Ningbing watching me. With a hint of jealousy, as if competing for our parents' affection, she spoke up. What about mine? I glanced at her and gave her a piece of fatty meat, the one thing she hated most. At the Gu Group, Shu Yao walked into the CEO's office with some documents. President Gu is Mr. Mu not coming to deliver lunch today. Gu Qinghan checked her watch. Usually by this time, I would have delivered her meal long ago. Is he so afraid of the divorce that he doesn't even dare to bring me food anymore? She looked up, her cold gaze sweeping over Shu Yao. What's the matter? Are you addicted to his cooking? Do you want me to call and ask him for you? Shu Yao panicked and explained quickly.
No.
I was just making conversation. The meals, mister? Mu brought always ended up in her stomach anyway. She'd grown used to it, so this being the first time he didn't show up, she really couldn't help but be curious. Seeing that the CEO was displeased, she hurried out with the signed documents. For once, Gu Qinghan had a day without me bothering her. As she finished work, the image of me in that black suit last night flashed through her mind. The way I looked at her as if she didn't exist, demanding a divorce. With a scoff, she headed straight to the club. The moment she entered the private room, she noticed everyone staring at her. She sat down on the sofa. Seeing them still gawking, her expression darkened. What are you all staring at? You sick or something? Su Jingyao leaned in, testing the waters. How come Mu Chen isn't following you around anymore? Gu Qinghan gave them a cold glare. Didn't you guys hate it when he tagged along? Isn't it better now that he's gone? Don't start acting like you miss him. Zhou Jingyao read the room and poured her a drink. We're just worried about you. We're afraid that once he stops wanting you, you'll actually start noticing him. As Gu Qinghan's best friends, they knew better than anyone. Before, I would follow Gu Qinghan wherever she went. I would never go to a club to find female models, and I certainly wouldn't feel comfortable leaving Gu Qinghan alone. But after that Sanya trip, it seemed I really didn't care about her anymore. Gu Qinghan saw that they all shared the same expression. Her face turned grim as she looked at them. If you're not going to use those eyes of yours, feel free to donate them. Su Jingyao tried to play peacemaker.
All right.
It's good that you don't care about him. Come on, Let's have a drink. Let's toast to Qinghan finally being free from that nightmare. Gu Qinghan raised her glass and drank, completely ignoring the point of their conversation. Until Zhou Jingyao picked up her phone. Eldest Miss Gu. Even though Mu Chen hurt your pride as a woman by forcing that marriage, his looks and physique are honestly more than enough to match yours. How did you manage not to touch him for 2 whole years? Back when my world revolved around Gu Qinghan, I had the contact info of every single one of her friends, so they could all see my social media updates. In the past, my feed was nothing but Gu Qinghan. If I wasn't showing off our love to mark my territory, I was writing long, sappy posts about how much I loved her, since I knew Gu Qinghan had blocked my feed. Every time I posted something sentimental, they would send it to the group chat to mock her. But just 2 hours ago, they discovered that I had deleted everything related to Gu Qinghan from my profile. Then, I posted a check-in from Sanya. It was a beautiful set of photos of the sunset on the Sanya coast. A full 9 photo grid with the caption, "Watching the most beautiful scenery with the person who loves me most." Moments like this are truly wonderful. Gu Qinghan noticed everyone was glued to their phones. She leaned over to take a look. It was a photo of me smiling brightly by the sea. Song Qingwan couldn't help but speak up. It feels like Hez suddenly changed into a different person. Su Jingyao teased from the side. He actually looks pretty cute like this. Zhou Jingyao clicked her tongue in agreement. I guess this is what someone looks like when they're finally over someone. With a loud thud, Gu Qinghan slammed her glass down onto the coffee table. She glared at them, her face dark with rage. Are you all insane? We came here to drink, and all you can do is stare at your phones and talk about Mu Chen. Gu Qinghan slammed the door as she left and got into her car. Frustrated, she undid the top button of her shirt, pulled out her phone, opened her contacts, and went to my profile. Only then did she realize I had gone to Sanya. In the photos, my eyes were clear and bright, sparkling with genuine joy. It was as if a light was radiating from within me. Whether it was the profile shot of me looking up, or the way I faced the camera, every gesture exuded pure happiness. My eyes seemed to hold all the beauty in the world. Looking both innocent and full of life, it gave off a sense of profound peace and tranquility. Is this really me? The person whose eyes used to hold nothing but obsessive love for her. The one who was always angry at others, acting like the entitled Mr. Giyu, paranoid, prone to jealous rages, and always picking fights for no reason. Was that really me? A person can't just change that drastically overnight. Gu Qinghan didn't believe for a second that the person in those photos was the real me. Others might not know, but she did. She thought I was just hiding from her to avoid the divorce talk. Posting those photos on my feed was surely just another ploy to get her attention. But even though she thought she knew my goal, she couldn't help but be captivated by these photos that were so unlike my usual self. This was the first time in my life Iddy had ever gone on a trip. Sanya was the one place I had always wanted to visit when I was alive. The cool breeze, the seafood feasts, the wine, with Mom by my side, eating while enjoying the night view of the coast. It gave me only one feeling. This world is truly beautiful. In my past life, I never had enough money. I never had the chance to experience a life like this. There was nothing good enough to even record. But now I feel like there are so many wonderful things worth remembering, like the delicious food my mother's love, and these unique experiences. The next morning, I wanted to go diving. Mom immediately paid for a private instructor to take me down, enjoying the feeling of gliding through the coral reefs. Playing with the schools of fish, it was incredible, so relaxing and joyful. The sky was so blue, the water crystal clear, and the wind was just right. I spent the morning diving. The afternoon was spent surfing, which was fun beyond words. After my shower that night, I lay down and checked my phone. I saw a message from the original Mu Chen's old informant. They sent me the trending news about Gu Qinghan and Chen Zhe. I glanced at it, they were in the same frame, but there was no actual scandal. I was almost worried for them. I was about to reply that I didn't want to know anymore. Nothing related to her. Just then, Bai Ningbing called me on video. Are you having fun? I answered honestly.
I am.
Bai Ningbing had also just finished her shower. She was still drying her hair with a towel, because Shed just stepped out of the bath. Her eyes had a certain depth to them. Her skin looked even more translucent and smooth. Her lips were rosy and plump. She looked both mature and yet had the innocence of a young girl. Gentle as jade, yet she didn't lose her feminine charm. I almost lost my composure for a second. Bai Ningbing continued.
I want to go too.
I replied playfully. You just focus on your work. I glanced at the bathroom. Mom was still showering. I lowered my voice. What I said last time wasn't a joke. It's for real. The Gu Group is going to turn on the Mu family. You have to be prepared. The company is counting on you. Bai Ningbing stopped what she was doing and looked at me. Aren't you afraid him just like Gu Qinghan? That him also after the company. I looked at her with total conviction. Im not afraid? I trust you. Bai Ningbing stared at me, her dark pupils shimmering with warmth. I didn't realize that line would flirt with her too. I hurriedly tried to end the call. Anyway, it's late.
Im going to sleep.
You should get some rest too. Bai Ningbing replied softly. Don't Forget to bring me a souvenir. I lay in bed, thinking about the deep feelings shed hidden for the original Mu Chen all these years. I decided to fulfill her small request. The next morning, Gu Qinghan woke up. She checked her phone. The trending news was still there. I hadn't reached out to her. No one from Chen Ze's side had contacted her either. At 6:32 a.m., she couldn't help but check my feed again. She saw that I had just updated my status 5 minutes ago. I was driving a rented electric scooter at the resort. It was a video of me taking my mom for a ride. In the video, I was wearing a breezy beach shirt, basking in the morning sun under a clear blue sky. I was laughing heartily. The gentle breeze played with my hair and my shirt. I would say something every now and then. I looked like the very definition of happiness. I made the surrounding scenery pale in comparison. I wasn't coming back. I was continuing my vacation. I had time to post on social media, so there's no way I missed the trending news, yet I didn't return. In fact, I seemed happier than ever. Gu Qinghan let out a frustrated laugh. She tossed her phone aside. So, has finally grown a backbone. She wanted to see just how long I could keep this up. Her schedule for the day was packed. When she returned to the hotel that night, she was so exhausted she collapsed onto the sofa, staring at the warm lights. The image of me driving that scooter flashed through her mind. Such a joyful scene. She took out her phone to check my feed again. She saw that I had updated my status a few hours ago. The caption read, "There is no one in the world like a mother." It was a 9-photo grid. Some were of me eating local snacks. Others were of me showing off small trinkets I'd bought. In the center was a photo of me and Mom. We were wearing matching sunglasses. The moment I mentioned divorce, Mom was terrified. I'd stay home and wallow in the past. She immediately took me on a trip to clear my head. The whole way, she took photos of me and told me how handsome I was. Whenever she saw good food or nice things, she wanted to buy them for me. She wanted me to taste every delicacy. She wanted to give me everything good in the world. A mother like that is truly the best in the world. I just wanted to show her off. I didn't expect it to make others jealous. In the comments, Dad left a salty message. "Am I not good too?" I replied immediately.
You're good too, Dad.
But Mom's the one who bought me all this. Bai Ningbing joined in on the fun. "Am not feeling well." I smiled as I typed back. "Hey there, you're the best in the world." Gu Qinghan tugged at her collar. That feeling of tightness in her chest wouldn't go away. It had been 3 days. I hadn't contacted her for 3 whole days. I didn't reach out and I seemed to be getting happier by the day. Seeing me so joyful made Gu Qinghan feel incredibly uneasy. It was as unpleasant as swallowing a dead fly. Right then, her phone buzzed. I had sent her a message. The tightness in her chest suddenly vanished. This man finally couldn't hold out any longer. For the first time, she felt a flicker of anticipation. She opened our chat. I asked bluntly, "The divorce agreement has been signed for days now. Isn't it time we made it official?" Gu Qinghan stared at the words, her eyes shaking. Her hand tightened around the phone, knuckles turning white. After a long silence, she stood up and drove home. The house that used to always have the lights on for her, no matter when she returned, was now pitch black. Only the lonely street lamp outside provided any light. She flipped on the living room lights and walked in. The house was empty. There was no sign of the person who was always waiting for her to come home. On the coffee table, right on top of the divorce agreement, her card had been placed there. She picked up the agreement and opened it. The 2 characters of Mu Chen's name, signed by hand, stood out sharply. The paper in her hand was crumpled until it was wrinkled. Emotions surged in her eyes. The man who just a few days ago was jealous because of her. Me wanting to divorce her? How is that even possible? Gu Qinghan let out a cold, disbelieving laugh. At the Mu residence, Mom was taking local specialties out of a large bag. She was handing them out to the household staff. Chen said all of these were delicious. "I brought some back for all of you to try." Everyone happily accepted the gifts and thanked her. The joy of sharing spread throughout the house. Dad was sipping tea after the meal. Bai Ningbing was on a business call. The house was large, but it didn't feel cold at all. It was warm and beautiful. I clutched my phone, seeing that Gu Qinghan still hadn't replied. I figured it'd give her a call in a little while. Bai Ningbing sat down beside me.
Where's my gift?
I looked up and met her gentle gaze. There was a hint of anticipation hidden within it. With her main character aura, it was hard for me not to be biased toward her. I stood up and opened my luggage. I pulled out 2 small nightlights from inside. One was made from seashells I picked up myself. I made it by hand at a craft stall. I held them out for her to choose. "Which one do you want?" Bai Ningbing looked at both of them. "Who is the other one for?" I didn't call out her little scheme. "It's for me." Bai Ningbing smiled and took the seashell nightlight. She looked it over again and again. Mom finished handing out the gifts and saw the nightlight in her hand. She offhandedly mentioned something. Chen made that one himself. When Bai Ningbing heard that, she immediately looked up at me. The surprise and joy in her eyes were almost impossible to hide. "You made this." The original Mu Chen only ever made things by hand for Gu Qinghan. She had been secretly in love with him for years. This was the first time she had ever received a handmade gift from him. I could only imagine how happy she was. I gave her a cold look. "What? You don't like it? If you don't want it, give it back." Bai Ningbing looked at me with such tenderness. "I don't dislike it. I wasn't sure if it was because I knew about her secret crush, but when she looked at me like that, I felt a deep, suppressed affection radiating from her. It was so intense, I almost couldn't resist her charm. I grabbed my phone and stood up. I'm tired.
I'm going to my room to rest.
Back in my room, I checked my phone. I saw that Gu Qinghan had finally replied to my message. Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, at the Civil Affairs Bureau. In the original story, Gu Qinghan caused the Mu family to go bankrupt. She forced me to divorce and leave with nothing. Now that we're divorcing earlier, could it be a sign? Maybe the Mu family's bankruptcy can be avoided too. I was in a great mood, afraid I'd oversleep. I set an alarm after my shower. The next day, I woke up before the alarm even went off. Thinking about my upcoming freedom, I even made an effort to dress up before heading downstairs. Dad had already finished breakfast and left for the office. Mom was pruning flowers Shed picked from the back garden. She saw me and called me over for breakfast. I quickly made an excuse and hurried out. I planned to give them a surprise after the divorce was finalized. The original Mu Chen knew how to drive and had a license, but I didn't. I only knew how to ride a small electric scooter. I hadn't even taken the driving test yet. The car I called arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau at 8:50 a.m. I pulled out my phone and called Gu Qinghan. I'm at the Civil Affairs Bureau.
When will you be here?
Gu Qinghan replied, saying she'd be there shortly. I waited under the shade of a tree until 9:30. That's when I finally saw Gu Qinghan's car pull up. I couldn't wait and hurried over to meet her. Gu Qinghan looked at me through the car window. I was wearing a stylish white shirt that gave off a certain aura. My toned chest was faintly visible. My handsome face was beaming with a smile. My neat short hair swayed slightly in the breeze. I had a striking presence that carried a hint of youthful energy. Like a captivating male fox spirit, I walked toward her against the sunlight, looking as if I were glowing, making everything around me fade into the background. I stopped in front of the car and tapped on the glass. Only then did Gu Qinghan look away, opening the door to step out. Our eyes met, but there was no trace of her in my gaze. Nor was there any hint of sadness, just a cheerful smile that felt somewhat distant. It wasn't at all what she expected. I just gave her a casual glance.
Let's go.
After saying that, I turned and headed toward the entrance. My steps were light, showing how much I couldn't wait. It was only at this moment that Gu Qinghan truly believed it. I really wanted a divorce. She stared at my back. The scene of our forced marriage years ago flashed through her mind. Even though more than 2 years had passed, it was still as clear as if it happened yesterday. Being forced to marry me was a humiliation to her. From the moment we wed, she had been thinking about the day she'd get her revenge. But before that day could come, I was the one asking for a divorce. I walked a few steps and saw she was still standing there. I frowned and walked back. What's wrong? I saw her staring at me without saying a word. Suddenly, I had a bad feeling. Don't tell me you didn't bring the documents. You came to get a divorce without your paperwork. I bit my tongue and kept urging her. Then hurry up and have someone bring them here. Gu Qinghan just kept staring at me coldly, saying nothing. I was speechless and glared back at her. Make the call. Why are you just staring at me? Only then did Gu Qinghan look away. She nonchalantly lifted her wrist to check the time. Finally, she deigned to speak. I have a meeting at 10. Well, talk about the divorce later. I quickly spoke up to stop her. We're already here. Why make another trip? Just push the meeting back a bit. It won't be too late to go back after we finish the paperwork. It was hard enough getting here today. There are too many variables next time. I don't want to wait. I said that because in the book, she often postponed meetings for Chen Zhe. It was clear her meetings weren't that important, but I didn't expect that as soon as I finished speaking. Gu Qinghan's expression would shift so drastically, as if I had committed some unforgivable sin. Her face was cold enough to freeze someone solid. Mu Chen, do you really think your business is always the most important thing in the world? Is the livelihood of tens of thousands of employees less important than your divorce? You think way too highly of yourself? I was stunned for 2 seconds by her sudden outburst. This two-faced hypocrite. When Chen Zhe asks her to delay a meeting, it's fine. But when I ask her to postpone one, suddenly it affects the lives of tens of thousands of employees. Besides, is this divorce just my business?
Isn't it her business too?
Gu Qinghan didn't give me any time to react. She just stormed off after scolding me. We agreed to divorce. And yet, she showed up late without her papers. Clearly, I was the one who should be angry. Yet she was the one with the dark face, slamming the car door and leaving. I was so pissed, I wanted to scream. ID already thought of the celebrating being single post for my social media. ID even planned where I was going to party tonight. And now the divorce fell through. I went to the supermarket and bought a mountain of snacks. Then I headed straight to the Gu Group headquarters. When Gu Qinghan returned from her meeting, she found me sitting on the sofa in her office. I was playing games on my phone, with a spicy lachiao stick hanging out of my mouth. The whole office smelled like spicy snacks. The coffee table was covered in junk food. Potato chips, chicken feet, spicy sticks. All things I would never have eaten before. Gu Qinghan frowned in disgust. What are you doing here? I kept my eyes on my phone while chewing, not even looking up. Waiting for you. Gu Qinghan stopped and glanced at me. She walked over to her desk, sat down, and stared at me. Waiting for me for what?
Eating junk food, playing games.
Without any of the rich young master image to maintain, the current me was far too unfamiliar to her. Only then did I stop what I was doing and look up at her. We didn't finish the divorce paperwork this morning. I know you're busy, so am waiting here for you to finish your work.
Then we can go back.
Gyu Qinghan gave me a cold look. She loosened her collar slightly. I'm not free at all today. I looked her up and down, feeling suspicious. Then when will you be free? Gyu Qinghan picked up a file beside her. When I'm free, I'll contact you. I had a feeling she was regretting it. A powerful CEO worth trillions. If she wanted a divorce, how could she possibly not have the time? But why would she regret it? She hated the original Mu Chen so much. Wouldn't a divorce be a relief? Could it be she hasn't tortured me enough? Even though the female lead in the story never said it, her attitude toward the original Mu Chen was clearly a form of revenge for the forced marriage. The more I craved her love, the more she made me taste the pain of unrequited longing. Now that I want a divorce, does she want me to experience the agony of wanting to leave but being unable to? I stood up in anger to confront her. Gyu Qinghan, do you actually not want to divorce? I'm giving you 3 days. If you don't finalize the divorce with me within 3 days, I'm filing a lawsuit. I wasn't negotiating with her. I was giving her notice. After saying my piece, I grabbed my snacks to leave. Just then, Chen Zhe pushed open the office door and walked in. When he saw me, a look of fear flashed in his eyes. He tried to back out, speaking hurriedly. Did I come at a bad time? I immediately called him back. No, you came at the perfect time. The male lead of the novel looked bright and obedient, with a delicate frame. The kind of person who makes you want to protect them at first sight. He was a character with a tragic family background, a gambling-addicted father and a mother in poor health. In high school, his father couldn't pay off loan sharks. Just as they were about to sell him off, Gyu Qinghan saved him. Since then, she had been his shield against the world. He wanted to enter the entertainment industry, so Gyu Qinghan signed him to her company. She turned him into a sought-after superstar. As the story's protagonist, he was kind, hardworking, and had strong morals. He had liked Gyu Qinghan from the moment she saved him, but he always felt unworthy, so he never dared to confess. He wanted to work hard to become someone worthy of her. After Gyu Qinghan was forced into marriage, even though he loved her in his heart, he stuck to his principles and refused to be a homewrecker. He kept his distance and remained just a friend. The novel was mainly from the perspective of the male lead, and the original Mu Chen, the female lead's love for the male lead, was portrayed through various events. In the part I read, they still hadn't confessed, so the mutual restrained secret love between the leads earned endless sympathy and anticipation from the readers. As for the original Mu Chen, the villainous second lead, everyone was constantly wishing for his downfall. I calmly explained the situation to him. I just finished talking to her about the divorce. She doesn't have time to do the paperwork today. I was just about to head out. I looked at Gyu Qinghan, then at Chen Zhe. I made a very quick exit. The smile on my face was genuine. You two take your time and talk. I won't disturb you any longer. As I passed Chen Zhe, I clearly felt him flinch away a bit. I couldn't blame him for being afraid of me. The original Mu Chen always saw him as a homewrecker. He'd give him a piece of his mind every time they met. He'd even hired people to humiliate him a few times. A textbook villainous second lead to clear my own name. I even thoughtfully closed the door as I left the office. Chen Zhe's eyes widened as he watched me leave in a daze. He looked toward Gyu Qinghan. He saw her face was dark as she stared at the closed door. When he walked over with the local specialties head brought, he noticed the pen in Gyu Qinghan's hand. It had bled through a large section of the document. Gyu Qinghan looked away and glanced up at him.
Why are you here?
Chen Zhe smiled and set the bag on the desk. Specialties from Jiang City. I thought they were quite good, so I brought some for you. Thank you for helping my mother find a doctor. Right after that, his eyes filled with restrained emotion as he looked at her. Are you really about to divorce Brother Chen? I walked out carrying my snacks. I ran into Xu Yao, who was holding documents for Gyu Qinghan to sign. I reached out and stopped her. Your CEO is busy with something important right now. Whatever those documents are, wait until Chen Zhe comes out. Then you can go in. Xu Yao looked at the office door, then back at me. She looked completely bewildered. Chen Zhe is in there. Chen Zhe is in there, and I'm not losing my mind. I'm even calmly standing here, making sure no one disturbs them. I opened my bag of snacks. Want some? Xu Yao looked at the bag of snacks held out in front of her. As a fellow foodie, she couldn't resist the temptation. She took a pack of pickled pepper chicken feet. Thank you, sir. I continued with my instructions. You need to be more observant from now on. When Chen Zhe comes to see her, don't go in and disturb them. I left right after saying that. Helping them get together is helping myself. It's best if they quickly give in to their feelings for each other. That way, Gyu Qinghan will finalize the divorce sooner. After all, filing for a contested divorce requires proof that the marriage has broken down. That sounds like a huge pain. Xu Yao ate the chicken feet while waiting for Chen Zhe to come out. When she finally went in with the files, she couldn't help but gossip. Do you know what he just said to me? Gyu Qinghan looked up and gave her a sharp glare. Xu Yao kept going anyway. He said I should only come in after Chen Zhe leaves. He also said, from now on, whenever Chen Zhe comes to see you, I'm not allowed to go in and disturb you. Gyu Qinghan threw a file toward her. her face full of rage. Is he the one paying your salary? Or am I? Xu Yao caught the file and spoke up again. Daunt? You think Hez changed? It's like Hez not jealous of you anymore. He even seems to be playing matchmaker for you and Chen Zhe. It really looks like Hez trying to set you up with Chen Zi. Gu Qinghan glared at her coldly. A dangerous smile played on her lips. Have you been too idle lately? Xu Yao immediately shut her mouth. She grabbed the signed documents and bolted out. Gu Qinghan tossed her fountain pen onto the desk. The smile on her face slowly turned cold. Her gaze gradually darkened. Since the divorce didn't happen, I left the company. Seeing it was almost noon, I caught a ride straight home. After having lunch with Mom, I went online to find a nearby driving school. I called them for a consultation. There were so many luxury cars in the garage, yet I could only look at them. It was truly agonizing. The original Mu Chen had a license. I just needed to actually learn how to drive. A driving school with a dedicated practice field was the best option. After making the appointment, I took a car to the school. Following the principle that money can buy anything, the owner found a beautiful instructor with a great personality. She gave me private lessons. I have to say, you get what you pay for. Even I felt like I was being incredibly stupid. But throughout the entire afternoon, the beautiful instructor never once lost her cool. She kept encouraging and comforting me, 10 out of 10 for emotional support. I spent the whole afternoon and finally managed to learn the basics. To thank the instructor, I invited her to dinner after we finished. Just as Gu Qinghan was finishing work, Su Jingyao sent her a message. Qinghan, we were wrong last time. We didn't consider your feelings. Tonight, the girls and I are treating. We want to sincerely apologize to you. She paused for a moment, then stood up and grabbed her coat. 20 minutes later, she walked into the restaurant and immediately spotted a familiar figure, smiling as bright as a flower. She walked over. She heard me praising a girl without any restraint. I said someone like her, with her looks and figure, clearly had a limitless future. Why was such a talented young woman wasting her time as a driving instructor? I found out she wasn't actually an instructor. She was the daughter of the driving school's owner. Because they were short-staffed, her mom forced her to teach me. I couldn't help but laugh. After laughing for a bit, I felt a chilling gaze on me. Reflexively, I looked up. I saw Gu Qinghan standing right there. Her face was absolutely livid. Before I could even say a word, Gu Qinghan reached out with one hand and yanked me to my feet. She dragged me out of the restaurant. She pinned me against the hood of a car and snarled. Mu Chen, we aren't divorced yet, and you're already out here fooling around with some hussy. Who gave you the nerve? I looked at the woman inches away from me. What a waste of such a beautiful face. When her temper is this explosive, I rubbed my wrist. What do you mean, hussy? I was just having a normal meal with her.
Don't go talking nonsense.
Gu Qinghan glared at me, fuming. A normal meal? Do you think I'm blind? I didn't want to look at her face. I looked up at the sky instead. If you think you're blind, there's nothing I can do about that. Gu Qinghan glared at me and then laughed out of pure anger. She reached out and grabbed my chin, forcing me to face her. With the overbearing pressure of a superior. Does Gu Qinghan think I'm the same Mu Chenying from 2 years ago? Does she think I'll just endure whatever she does to me? From now on,
I'm the one calling the shots between us.
she looks down at her belly, her eyes full of hidden meaning, as if she's desperate for others to notice. Continuing her provocation. But all women are the same once the lights go out. It's not like I can't live without you. Gu Qinghan's face turned as dark. If it had been soaked in ink. She gritted her teeth, threw the handkerchief away, and laughed out of pure rage. Why don't you try me? I countered.
Wasn't I just about to?
But then you went and interrupted me. If you don't have anything else, I'm going back inside to finish my meal. My phone was still in the restaurant. I brushed my hair back, and seeing that Gu Qinghan wasn't stopping me anymore, I headed back in. But the moment I sat down, my phone rang. I picked it up to check. Gu Qinghan had sent me a video. I clicked on it, and my face instantly went pale. The video showed the original host looking for someone. Evidence of Chen Zhe's kidnapping. There was a scene of the original host shoving someone, pushing them into the street. Evidence of causing a car accident. There was even proof of me ordering people. Video evidence of the crime of bullying Chen Zi. If this evidence reached the police station, it would be enough to put me behind bars for years. Gu Qinghan hadn't released this before because she was wary of the Mu family. Now that she's showing it, it seems she's no longer afraid of them. I've only had a few good days of living. I didn't transmigrate here just to enjoy life in prison. While my mind was in a whirl, Gu Qinghan sent me a text.
I'll give you 2 minutes.
Get up here and behave. Gu Qinghan wants to use this to blackmail me. I'm not willing to submit, but I want to go to prison even less. Wang Xiaoyu saw that I didn't look well and poured me a glass of water. What's wrong? I replied. Sorry. Something came up. I have to go first. Take your time eating. I quickly paid the bill and went upstairs to the private room to find Gu Qinghan. In the private room, when Su Jingyao arrived, she happened to see Gu Qinghan and the scene of me in front of the car. She snapped a photo and shared it with the girls in the room. From her angle, it looked like Gu Qinghan was being overwhelmingly intimate with me. Then everyone went to the window to look, seeing me walk away without looking back. They were even more certain that Gu Qinghan had just used force to coerce someone. He clearly didn't love her anymore. As soon as Gu Qinghan arrived, Su Jingyao immediately went over to greet her and pour wine. No one dared to mention anything about me. When I pushed the door open and walked in, all three of them were caught off guard. Su Jingyao was very observant. She hurriedly stood up to give up the seat next to Gu Qinghan, the seat right beside her. She set down a fresh, unopened set of utensils. I smiled and waved at them. "Hey guys." I glanced at Gu Qinghan and walked toward her. The three of them looked at me, then at Gu Qinghan, and as usual tried to be invisible, leaning in to whisper. I gritted my teeth and used my chopsticks to puncture the plastic wrap on the bowl. Getting a bit closer to Gu Qinghan, I lowered my voice and asked,
What's your game?
Gu Qinghan curled her lips into a cold smirk. I just want you to be a little more obedient. My fists tightened. This crazy woman. Besides tormenting me, she has no other hobbies. I forced a fake smile and picked up my chopsticks. I put some food on her plate. Of course, honey. If you say go east, I won't go west. If you tell me to warm the bed, I won't just warm the room. Gu Qinghan glanced at me and took a breath. She held her empty wine glass without putting it down. I immediately filled it up for her. I was hungry after practicing driving all afternoon. Since she didn't say anything, I just started eating heartily on my own. After finishing a bowl of rice, I realized everyone was staring at me. I scooped another bowl and smiled back at them. Do you guys want some? I can get it for you. They were even more shocked. Someone like me, who only ever had eyes for Gu Qinghan and only served her, was actually offering to serve them rice. The next second, the person who used to hate my service, Gu Qinghan, spoke up. So you like helping people that much? Peel this plate of shrimp for me. I want to eat. My fists tightened in anger again. That damn crazy woman. I don't even want to peel them for myself. I smiled as I sat down looking at her, but the smile didn't reach my eyes. Of course, honey. I pulled the plate of shrimp over and started peeling, all while trying to figure out how to break this deadlock. I didn't want to be blackmailed by her forever. I was so lost in thought that I absent-mindedly popped the shrimp I just peeled
right into my own mouth.
The three of them looked at me, then at Gu Qinghan. Their eyes met, filled with the spark of pure gossip. Gu Qinghan watched me put the shrimp into my stomach and eat it so happily. Her gaze was dark and unreadable. I felt a chill so intense from her icy stare that I finally snapped out of it. I quickly took the next shrimp I was about to put in my mouth and stuffed it into hers instead. I was just testing it for you. It's safe. No poison. Gu Qinghan was forced to eat it and instinctively started chewing. The coldness in her eyes softened slightly. In the past, Gu Qinghan would find it disgusting, even if I just put food on her plate. Now, seeing me directly, feed her. Not only did she eat it, but she actually seemed to enjoy it. Everyone started teasing. Su Jingyao raised her wine glass. Tisk, tisk, tisk. When you two show off your love, could you at least consider the feelings of us, single dogs? Su Jingyao chimed in.
Exactly.
Do you two have some kind of misunderstanding about showing affection? I was suppressing my anger inside, unable to listen to their teasing, but I could only pretend that I was trying my best to coax her. Su Jingyao toyed with the wine glass in her hand, her expression somewhat nonchalant. Shez, so hard to please. Do you want to find someone else to like instead? I stuffed another peeled shrimp into Gu Qinghan's mouth, looking at her with sparkling eyes, acting as if she was the only one in my world. She's a bit hard to please, but Shez so beautiful. I just love her gorgeous, cold look and her perfect figure. Gu Qinghan looked at my lying face, smiling like a flower on the outside, but gritting my teeth on the inside. In her cold eyes, a hint of a smile appeared. I couldn't help but curse her as a pervert in my head. After dinner, we left the restaurant. I was still thinking about going back to my own place. Gu Qinghan threw the car keys to me.
You drive.
Gu Qinghan had been drinking and couldn't drive. The original host knew how to drive, so I had no way to refuse. Seeing Gu Qinghan sit in the back seat, I had no choice but to be her driver. Luckily, I had learned how to drive this afternoon, but as a new driver, it was hard not to be nervous. Plus, it was night driving. I was fully focused, driving very slowly. Gu Qinghan leaned back against the seat, watching me drive a luxury car at the speed of a tractor. She didn't know what kind of trick I was playing. She laughed out of frustration. Can you go any slower? My hands on the steering wheel were sweating. My mind was entirely on the road. I couldn't handle even the slightest distraction.
Don't talk to me.
Gu Qinghan's face immediately darkened. Mu Chen, have you forgotten
Your place.
The next second, the car shot forward like an arrow. Seeing the car go faster and faster, my mind went blank for a moment. Gu Qinghan saw the car suddenly accelerate as if we had a death wish. There was a car ahead, but I still didn't slow down. It looked like I wanted to take her down with me. Her face turned grim. Mu Chen, are you crazy? Hit the brakes now? I'm hitting the brakes. I realized I had mistaken the gas pedal for the brake. I scrambled to hit the actual brake, but it was a bit too late. While still in a state of panic, I only heard a loud bang. The world suddenly went silent. When I woke up, my neck and head still hurt a bit. I heard Gu Qinghan almost gritting her teeth, forcing my name out of her throat.
Mu Chen.
I turned back to look at her. I was driving just fine. You're the one who insisted on talking to me? Gyu Qinghan glared at me with a dark expression, squeezing the words through her teeth. So, it's my fault. I replied righteously.
It's my fault?
It's my fault for being useless. The moment I heard your voice, I got so nervous that I couldn't tell the brake from the gas pedal anymore. My mouth said it was my fault, but there wasn't a hint of remorse on my face. After saying that, I didn't bother with her anymore and got straight out of the car. Gyu Qinghan laughed from sheer anger. With a cold face, she pulled out her phone and called Xu Yao to come handle it. After hanging up, she saw me rubbing my neck while leaning over to say something to the person in front, the owner of the car I hit. My posture was clearly that of someone apologizing for a mistake. This version of me, compared to the one in Gyu Qinghan's memory, was worlds apart. In her memory, I had never apologized to anyone but her. I was arrogant and impulsive. No matter what I did wrong, I always maintained a high and mighty attitude, feeling that others deserved it. For something like a car accident, I wouldn't even bother getting out of the car.
I'd just call someone to deal with it.
Completely indifferent to whether others lived or died, I asked anxiously, "Are you okay? Oh my God, are you hurt?" The bruise on her forehead made her fair and perfect face, marred by a single flaw. I saw her face clearly, and my guilt felt immense. I felt even more apologetic. Chen Zhe's recently released movie, the female lead in that tragic youth film, was the famous young star Liu Ruyan. In the original story, it was during her collaboration with Chen Zhe. The movie mentioned her, describing her as a former child star and a top-tier celebrity for Chen Zhe's first movie to be a collaboration with her. Fans everywhere were celebrating. Later, her on-screen pairing with Chen Zhe took the internet by storm, but it was also in this very year, before the original host died, that she died as well. She left a very long suicide note. She committed suicide. A girl on screen who always wore a radiant smile, but behind that were a pair of blood-sucking parents. They broke the wings of her dreams, making her lose herself, treating her like a money-making tool. They never cared about her feelings. Under the pressure of long-term depression, her parents forced her to entertain a powerful figure in the industry who couldn't be offended. That became the final straw for her, and she chose to end her life. When I read the story, I felt like she was a reflection of myself. I empathized with her so much that I shed many tears. Liu Ruyan glanced at her beloved car, then looked down at me, a hint of a smile in her eyes. "Hey, mister," is what happened to me. What they call disaster falling from the sky. For someone just sitting in their car, at the intersection, she was waiting for the light when she got hit. I pulled my gaze back and snapped out of it, seeing that in her eyes there was still a lingering sadness that hadn't faded. "I'm truly sorry. I'll take full responsibility for the repairs. Your medical checkup fees and compensation for mental distress, I'll cover it all." Anyone else would have been struck by her stunning beauty the moment they saw her. This was the first time Liu Ruyan had seen someone look at her with that kind of gaze. It was as if I had seen right through the misery beneath her glamorous exterior while she was dazed. I pulled out my phone. "Could I have your contact information? That way, if there are any issues with the compensation, it'll be easier to get in touch." Liu Ruyan didn't actually care about the car and didn't want compensation, but my gaze from earlier made her instinctively take my phone and add her contact info. After she made the call to link us, she handed the phone back to me. "You don't recognize me." I put the phone away, a smile playing on my lips. "The superstar Liu Ruyan, how could I not recognize you? I'm a big fan of yours. Could I get your autograph?"
Liu Ruyan looked at me skeptically.
When I first saw her, I clearly didn't have the excitement of meeting an idol. Seeing her not moving, I stepped forward and hugged her. "If you don't want to sign, then just give me a hug."
Liu Ruyan froze on the spot.
Unlike the frantic, excited hugs of other fans, I just held her quietly, as if I were confessing or perhaps comforting her. "You're truly amazing. Your excellence has given so many people the courage to face their hardships and the motivation to keep moving forward. I hope that one day we can also give you the courage to be the strength that supports you as you move forward." Gyu Qinghan inside the car watched me turn an accident scene into a flirting session. Her face darkened as she got out of the car and pulled me out of that woman's arms. Just then, Xu Yao rushed over. Gyu Qinghan took her car keys and dragged me away. Liu Ruyan stood there watching me, my words from just now still echoing in her head. I smiled and waved at her. That smile was like peach blossoms in March, a cool breeze in June, like everything beautiful in this world. Under the warm streetlights, it was framed like a perfect picture. Gyu Qinghan pinned me against the front of the car, her expression icy, cheating on me right in front of my face. "You're getting bolder by the day." I leaned in toward her proactively, my fingers tracing the lines of her waist through the thin fabric. "My life is in your hands now. If you don't want me touching others, even if I had the heart for it, I wouldn't have the guts right now. All I'm thinking about is how to make it up to you. How about tonight? I warmed the bed for you." I leaned in close, pretending to be intimate. Sure enough, in the next second, Gyu Qinghan looked disgusted again. With a dark expression, Gu Qinghan opened the car door and shoved me inside. If a woman can't even stand to touch me, what kind of threat could she possibly be? Suddenly, I felt relieved. On the way, I received a call from Wen Yudong. It's so late. Why aren't you home yet? I didn't want them to worry. But since I can't get a divorce right now, and am being blackmailed by Gu Qinghan,
That there's no way I can stay home every day.
I had to lie. I'm not coming home tonight. Gu Qinghan apologized to me, so I decided to give her another chance through the rearview mirror. Gu Qinghan shot me a glance. She was so angry. She actually laughed. Wen Yudong had long known it would end like this. She wasn't surprised at all, just a little disappointed. Then bring her over tomorrow for a meal at home. I glanced at Gu Qinghan, who was driving, and tentatively agreed. Wen Yudong reminded me, if anything happens, remember to tell Mom. Get some rest early. I nodded.
Okay, you and Dad should sleep early too.
Don't stay up late and don't worry about me all the time. End of call. As soon as I hung up, Gu Qinghan's annoying voice rang out.
Sorry, dear.
Sorry for what?
I casually explained. That was just to deal with my parents. It was just an excuse. How could you possibly be wrong? It's all my fault. I thought that my obviously unhappy state, while still having to coax her, would give her the pleasure of tormenting me. If Shay's satisfied, my life will be a lot easier. But Gu Qinghan pushed her luck. I remember you used to
Love writing long posts on your social feed.
If you know you're wrong, then write one tonight, no less than 300 words. The original owner used to write them every day, but she blocked him and never looked. Now that I don't love her anymore and have deleted all those posts, she's forcing me to write one. Seriously, you can't be a CEO male lead without being a total psycho. I smiled and agreed. I'll write it when I get back. Once home, I immediately went to my room and sent a message to Bai Ningbing. Sister Ningbing, what are the odds we can take down the Gu Group? Or how much would it cost to acquire them? In just 2 short years, Gu Qinghan had built the Gu Group up into a leading local enterprise. There must be plenty of shady business under the surface. But Shez, the protagonist, she has protagonist armor. In the story, she didn't seem to have any weaknesses at all. If I want to stop being blackmailed by her,
I have to become more powerful than her.
I need to suppress her. I refuse to believe that as a transmigrator. I can't beat her. So what if she took down the Mu Group? I'm going to take down the Gu Group. I might not know much else, but I can lead the Mu Group to seize various money-making opportunities. Bai Ningbing video called me, a smile playing on her lips. Do you really hate her that much? The next second, realizing I wasn't at my own house, she frowned. Are you back at the Gu residence? I didn't hide anything. I told her about the video Gu Qinghan was using to blackmail me. Bai Ningbing's expression darkened. What video? Send it to me. I sent her the video. My expression was calm. You guys probably didn't know about this, right? Bai Ningbing was silent for a long time. It seems they really didn't know that Gu Qinghan, for the sake of the company's growth, had secretly handled things for me. And now it's become her leverage against me. That's why I have to take her down and get my own leverage over her. I looked at the woman on the screen. I remember a subsidiary of the Mu Group has its own film industry chain.
Have someone send me a list?
Of the artists under their wing. Bai Ningbing was puzzled. What do you need that for? I explained seriously. I've thought of a great money-making project. It's hard to explain over the phone. I'll give you the details tomorrow. As a corporate slave who used to write as a side hustle, I had some experience and knowledge of the short drama industry. Some short dramas cost a few million to make, but their daily revenue exceeds 100 million. They completely outperform movies that invest hundreds of millions. Plus, the production time is very short. You can film several series in a month. The only selling points are a handsome male lead and a beautiful female lead. The acting is usually mediocre, and the scripts are mindless power fantasies that don't hold up to scrutiny. But people absolutely love watching them. The comment sections are full of people mocking them, while simultaneously hunting for the next episode. In the era of the short video explosion, short dramas are a goldmine in this novel world. Short videos have just started to emerge, and short dramas aren't popular yet. The entertainment industry's productions still follow traditional paths. There are absolutely no genres like rebirth, transmigration, or power fantasies. It'll take all the hit short dramas I've seen and turn them into scripts. Once they're released, even if others try to copy them, they won't be able to keep up. After the call ended, I went to shower and received the email with the documents. I opened my laptop and went through them one by one. The company had just recently signed a batch of newcomers. I decided to make time to visit the company and check them out. For now, I have to turn those hit shows into scripts to escape her threats as soon as possible. I got straight to work. I was writing with great enthusiasm when Gu Qinghan sent me a message. What's wrong? Are 300 words that hard? How about I increase it to 500 for you? I glanced at the time. It was already very late. This crazy woman isn't sleeping, just so she can wait for my little essay. Shez seriously sick. Since I wasn't afraid of disgusting her, I quickly posted to my social feed, making it visible only to her. I think I'm becoming more and more starved for your body. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. In the dead of night, imagining you without a stitch of clothing on, letting me have my way with you. I wonder if your cold lips are as sweet as I imagine them to be. And that body you keep so tightly covered all day, I wonder if it's as soft as I think. Gu Qinghan didn't expect me to be this shameless, openly writing about such predatory fantasies about her. Her face turned from pale to red, then red to pale again. Fortunately, she soon realized something was off. Normally, as soon as I post, my sycophantic friends would jump in to like and comment. Right now is exactly when they'd be scrolling through their phones, but a long time had passed without a single comment or like. It was obvious that because she forced me to write, I was unhappy, so I wrote that on purpose. Gu Qinghan replied, "Well written. From now on, write one every day." After seeing that message, I skipped sleep and rushed to finish the scripts. I finished 2 opening acts in one go, writing over 300 episodes. It was already past 5 in the morning. I was truly exhausted. I encrypted and saved the files, then collapsed onto the bed and fell asleep instantly. Gu Qinghan woke up, seeing no breakfast on the table and no movement downstairs. She turned my doorknob. She found the door was still locked from the inside. She knocked. I was too sleepy to function. I pulled the blanket over my head, but it was useless. The knocking was relentless. It seemed that if I didn't open the door, she would keep knocking forever. I was woken up in a fit of rage. I crawled out of bed to open the door.
What could possibly be so important right now?
I was wearing loose, comfortable pajamas. My hair was a mess, and I was yawning repeatedly. My grumpy, just woken up face had a certain lazy beauty to it. Gu Qinghan narrowed her eyes, staring intently at my face. "Where's breakfast? Knocking on my door just for breakfast. I'm not a breakfast vendor." I was so angry, I was wide awake. I stepped forward and pulled her into a tight hug. I discussed her as revenge. "There is no breakfast. Why don't you just eat me for breakfast instead?" A faint scent wafted into her nose. It wasn't the strong perfume from before. It smelled like shampoo and body wash. Gu Qinghan was momentarily dazed, but very quickly, a wave of nausea, like muscle memory, snapped her back to her senses. She pushed me away and threatened me coldly. "Are you sure there isn't any?" I gritted my teeth. "Ill, go make it for you right now." Since I transmigrated here, I hadn't stepped foot in the kitchen. There was nothing to eat in the fridge. Finally, I found some noodles and a few eggs. I cooked a bowl of noodles. By the time I was done, I realized that crazy woman had already left. I figured she wasn't going to eat, so I ate it all myself. Just as I was planning to go back to sleep, Gu Qinghan sent me a message. "Once you're done, bring it to the office." This woman is truly a master of torment. I gritted my teeth, changed my clothes, and grabbed my laptop. Before heading out, I saw the card she had placed on the divorce agreement earlier. It was still on the coffee table. I picked it up and put it in my bag. Then I bought a breakfast set and brought it to the Gu group. Gu Qinghan happened to be in a meeting. I left it on her desk and hurried away. Transmigration and rebirth. Just by looking at the opening, she had a look of disbelief. "This setup is very novel." I smiled and nodded.
Right? I thought so too.
I pulled up a chair and sat down. Seeing that she was almost finished reading, I spoke up. "I plan to turn these into short dramas." I explained the concept of short-form video dramas to her. Then I told her about the future prospects. Currently, short videos are just starting to take off, and the user base has already exceeded 100 million. There is huge potential for the future. Bai Ningbing looked at me. I talked endlessly about the business. Her eyes sparkled, and her face was full of smiles, thinking back to the script she just read. For a moment, she wondered if I was a transmigrator who had taken over Mu Chen's body. The me she knew was a bit. He had the arrogance and willfulness of a young master who was used to being pampered. He was extremely picky about food, never eating random street snacks. Everything he used had to be a luxury brand. He'd never buy junk from a roadside stall. Ever since he fell in love with Gu Qinghan, she was the only thing in his eyes. And he didn't care about anything else in the family if it wasn't a soul swap. How could I have suddenly changed so much? Seeing her staring at me in a daze, I grabbed a pen from the holder and poked her forehead. I have to say, with looks like hers, even a nun would find it hard not to be moved. "What do you think?" Bai Ningbing crossed her arms on the desk, showing no emotion, but her eyes were gentle as she looked at me. "You said the costs are low, so we can give it a try since it was your idea. Why don't I put you in charge?" I quickly agreed. "No problem. I'll send you the script first. You give it to the director to start preparations. I'll head to the talent agency later to pick the leads. Help me give the agency a heads up." Bai Ningbing asked, "Do you need me to go with you?" I waved her off. "No need. Just do your work. I'll find you if there's a problem." After finishing the talk about the short dramas, I took 2 steps, thought of something, and turned back. I caught Bai Ningbing staring at me. I pretended not to notice. "One more thing."
"I want to sign Liu Ruyan."
Bai Ningbing narrowed her eyes and leaned back in her chair, looking at me suspiciously. "Why do you suddenly want to sign her?" I analyzed it. Seriously, I just feel like She's a rare hidden gem in the entertainment industry. She's definitely going to be famous. But her manager has always been her father, and he doesn't seem to have any intention of letting her
Sign with a company.
have someone draft a contract. I'll handle the talk with her father. Bai Ningbing looked at my confident expression and was dazed for a moment. Just as I left the company and was heading to the talent agency, I received a message from Gu Qinghan. If lunch is takeout again, then you can just wait to be on the front page. I gritted my teeth in anger. This crazy woman is really tormenting me. Shez actually taking this seriously. Checking the time, I went to the mall and spent over $1 million of her money on gifts for the original owner's parents. After buying the gifts, I went to the Mu residence for a free meal.
Wen Yudong saw me.
Returning happily, with gifts for them. And I hadn't even used the card they gave me. She thought Gu Qinghan and I had come back together and kept looking toward the door. Seeing no one else, she asked, "Did you come back alone?" I made up an excuse. Shez busy and didn't have time to come over. Wen Yudong claimed she didn't mind. "It's fine as long as you're back. Why did you buy us gifts? We don't lack anything." But as she held the bag I bought for her, she looked it over from every angle. The more she looked, the more she liked it. She felt like all the bags she had at home should be retired. She couldn't put it down. Hearing the servant praise the bag, "Madam, this bag is so beautiful. It matches your outfit perfectly." Wen Yudong even stood up and carried it around to admire it. "Really? Chen bought it for me.
Isn't it pretty?
Young master really has great taste." Then when I go for afternoon tea later, "I'll carry this one?" I didn't expect her to be so happy. My parents were facing the gifts I had carefully chosen for them. It was nothing but criticism. They'd praise other people's children, talking about what they bought for their parents, but they never supported me like that. I only ever heard from my colleagues about how their parents would brag and shower them with praise whenever they bought them gifts. I always thought the mothers of wealthy families already had everything they could ever want, so they wouldn't care about things like this. After finishing the meal, I asked Auntie Lu to pack the leftovers for me. When Auntie Lu heard that they were for Gu Qinghan, she was so shocked her eyes nearly popped out of her head. "Young master, it's not right to pack these things for the madam. How about I whip up 2 fresh dishes instead?" I waved her off. "No need. This is plenty." Auntie Lu watched me as she packed the food. In the past, whenever I wanted to pack food for Gu Qinghan, I'd have it prepared in advance, picking only the best ingredients and showing so much care. Now, in giving her leftovers, the young master has really changed. Auntie Lu changed the subject. "Young master, look at the madam. It's the first time I've seen her this happy while rushing off to afternoon tea." I was skeptical. "Really?
Was she not happy going before?
Auntie Lu sighed. "You have no idea. When those wealthy ladies get together for tea, if they aren't comparing husbands, they're comparing children. You bought her a bag today, and Shez not just happy about the bag itself, but because you were the one who bought it for her." I glanced at Wen Yudong, who was busy dressing up. The original owner of this body didn't have a job, and he had basically forced this marriage, rushing to tie himself to her. He only had eyes for Gu Qinghan, rarely ever checking in on his parents. Every time those socialites chatted, Wen Yudong could only stay silent, listening enviously to others brag. Now that her son bought her a bag, she finally felt like she had something to show off too. I remember that after the Mu Corporation went bankrupt in the story, the people she usually hung out with, those wealthy ladies, all took the chance to kick her while she was down. They mocked her for raising a disastrous son, who forced the whole family to pay for his mistakes. I couldn't help but walk over to her. "Mom, let me help you pick out an outfit." I wanted to give her some fashion advice. Wen Yudong's smile brightened even more. I styled her in a sophisticated look, one that was far ahead of the fashion sense in this novel's world. By the time I reached the Gyu group, it was nearly 1 o'clock. I ran into Shu Yao and handed the thermos directly to her. "Gu Qinghan's lunch." Gu Qinghan raised her wrist for the 5th time to check the clock. Just as the office door was pushed open, she instinctively looked up and saw Shu Yao with a beaming face, carrying the thermos inside. "The young master started bringing you lunch again." Gu Qinghan's expression turned a degree colder. "Where is he?" Shu Yao answered honestly. "He left." Shu Yao has been eating takeout for days. She really missed the young master's cooking. Seeing that she had no more questions, Shu Yao hugged the thermos as usual, intending to leave happily. "I'll head out then." The next second, she was coldly called back by Gu Qinghan.
Where do you think you're taking that?
Shu Yao was confused.
"Don't you usually refuse to eat the food the young master cooks?"
Shu Yao glanced at her, sensing the sudden chill and the dangerous aura in the room. She immediately shut her mouth, placed the thermos on the desk, and said, "Enjoy your meal. I'll get back to work." Gu Qinghan pulled at her tie, loosening it slightly. She leaned back in her office chair, staring intently at the thermos. Her fingers rested on the armrest, tapping it absent-mindedly. She picked up her phone. I had just sat down in my car after finishing a talk with the manager of the talent agency when Gu Qinghan's call came through. "Buy me a coffee from that shop on Manhwa Street and bring it to me personally." I grit my teeth.
Is your assistant dead or something?
Gu Qinghan said nonchalantly. For a trivial matter like this, it would be a waste of my assistant's time. It's a perfect job for you, I replied sarcastically.
Well, thank you so much.
For letting me know Im's still useful for something. I hung up and headed to the management company anyway. Xia Yudong was looking for gossip. Isn't the eldest young master of the Mu family, only interested in Gu Qinghan. He never cared about the family business before. Why did he suddenly show up at the company to pick the leads for a project? What do you guys think? Do you think has been ignored for so long that he wants to find a young girl to keep on the side, just to satisfy his needs? Chu Mu Qing chimed in. I was thinking the same thing. Usually for lead roles, don't they send out the scripts first and then have the director hold auditions? How can he just show up out of the blue and come straight to the company to pick someone? And he specifically asked to see the young girls who just signed their contracts. Sun Jinglin argued back. You guys have way too much imagination. If he really came here to find a woman, why would he call all of us in? Xia Yudong shot her a look. Are you stupid? It's obviously just for show, to throw people off the scent. Just as the girls were gossiping, furiously the office door opened. The manager led me inside. Everyone went silent instantly. The manager spoke up. Everyone is here. I scanned them one by one, from the closest to the furthest, then walked toward the girls. I reached out and pinched the arm of the girl, standing on the far left. No collarbone definition. You need to train harder. Xiao Chengyu's face turned beet red immediately. She had heard everything the girls were gossiping about earlier. They hadn't been quiet. I looked at the girl next to her and pinched her waist. A bit soft. You need to lose some weight. Zhang Ning couldn't help but ask, does acting depend on your physique too? I answered seriously. That depends on what role you want to play. If you're just an extra, it doesn't matter. But if you want to be the lead in an idol drama, both your looks and your body have to be top tier. I glanced at her. I didn't expect the difference between photos and reality to be like night and day. If it's not a problem with the face, it's the physique not being up to par. Short films are often made hastily,
With incredibly low pay.
so stars with even a bit of fame won't touch them. Newcomers have to rely on their looks. If the looks aren't there, the audience won't watch. As someone who appreciates beauty, if even I don't think you're good enough, how can the audience be satisfied? The leads must be beautiful. After I finished inspecting everyone, I finally stated my purpose for being there. I have plans recently to film a few short series. Not the kind with 40-minute episodes, like a traditional TV drama, but short-form videos. Before I could finish my introduction, Gu Qinghan sent me a text. Are you traveling the world just to get a coffee? I replied to her, traffic jam. Don't rush me. Give me another half hour. I turned back to continue. The filming cycle for one script is about 7 to 12 days. Pay depends on the role, ranging from 600 to 10,000 a day. If any of you want to hone your acting skills, you can sign up with the manager. Threatened by Gu Qinghan, I finished my message, gave a few final instructions, and hurried away. Sun Jinglin asked, are you guys going? Xia Yudong sneered.
You actually believe the nonsense Hez spouting?
Filming a whole series in a week, with 1-minute episodes, and using newbies for the leads. Have you ever heard of a show like that? Chu Muqing analyzed the situation. Look at how he acted when he arrived. Inspecting everyone one by one, he was clearly checking them out. It's just a shame no one seemed to satisfy him. Xia Yudong teased. Zhang Ning. He seemed pretty pleased with your face earlier. Hurry up and lose weight. Don't miss out on this great opportunity. I arrived at the company, and the delivery guy was already waiting at the door. I stepped up, gave him a tip, and rushed upstairs with the coffee. I pushed the office door open, and Gu Qinghan's cold gaze immediately shifted toward me. I didn't mind. I handed her the coffee with a flattering smile. Sorry to keep you waiting, great CEO. My forehead was beaded with sweat, and my breathing was a bit heavy, making it look like I had rushed all the way up. Gu Qinghan glanced at the coffee on the desk. You didn't poison it, did you? The next second, I picked it up and took a sip. I kept smiling at her, though the smile didn't reach my eyes.
Great CEO.
Are you satisfied now? Gu Qinghan's face darkened a few shades. Yes, she looked at me, then at the coffee I had just sipped. I walked around the desk to get close to her, acting like I wanted to throw myself into her arms.
Great CEO.
Do you have any other requests? Want a hug or a kiss? Gu Qinghan slid her office chair back, widening the distance between us, and glared at me coldly. I saw her looking at me, like I was some kind of monster. Before I could even celebrate, I heard her say, I have friends coming over for dinner tonight. Go home and prepare the meal. I ordered takeout this morning and brought food back from my parents' place at noon, specifically because I didn't want to cook for her. Yet she keeps forcing me to do it. I grit my teeth, trying not to lose my temper. Maintaining my service smile. Of course, great CEO.
How many friends are coming?
Chinese or Western cuisine? Gu Qinghan answered casually. 5 or 6 people. Figure it out yourself. I turned around. Fine. Well then, CEO, I'll head back to get ready. The moment I turned away, my smile vanished. This crazy woman just can't stop tormenting me all day. I need to find something to keep her busy, to shift her attention more toward the male lead, so she'll dump me and marry him sooner. Gu Qinghan watched me leave, swallowed hard, and loosened her tie. She reached for the coffee on the desk and took a sip. Only after drinking it did she realize it finally clicked that I had just drunk from it. Her expression immediately became like a violent storm sweeping through. She slammed the coffee down far away from her, refusing to take another drop. But for the rest of the afternoon, every time she saw that cup, she couldn't help but think about how she and the man she hated most had shared the same cup of coffee. Suddenly feeling frustrated and annoyed, she finally tossed it into the trash. Out of sight, out of mind. Flower in my heart, I want to take you home. In the midnight bar, whether it's real or just a show, just sway as much as you want. Forget your lover. You're the most charming one, don't you know? That evening, while Gu Qinghan was still in the yard, she heard upbeat music blasting from the main hall. When she entered, I was nowhere to be seen, but the aroma of food wafted from the kitchen. She took off her coat and walked to the kitchen door, only to see two extra women cooking inside. One of them was handing a finished dish to me for a taste. I praised her as I ate. Delicious. I saw how beautiful you were and what a great body you had.
You didn't look like a chef at all.
I thought it had been scammed, but you really do have talent. Then what did you think I did for a living? With your looks, it's a shame you are a model. As I was talking, I felt a cold chill like needles on my back. I instinctively turned around and saw Gu Qinghan. Her face so dark it looked like I owed her hundreds of millions. As soon as I walked over, Gu Qinghan sneered at me. I told you to cook, and you bring two women home to enjoy yourself. Should I call a few more over for you? Gu Qinghan pulled out her phone, and I immediately grabbed her hand.
What? Enjoying myself?
My cooking is just too terrible. I couldn't pull it off and was afraid it would taste bad. I didn't want to embarrass you in front of your friends, so I hired two chefs. I'm not stupid. If I were really looking for women, why would I bring them home? Just then, the doorbell rang. Gu Qinghan gave me a warning look and pulled her hand back. I immediately went to open the door. When I returned, Gu Qinghan's phone rang and she took it out. I glanced over and saw it was Chen Zhe calling. I couldn't help but prick up my ears to listen. Chen Zhe had returned home to find a local delivery package, a bouquet of fresh flowers in a parcel. He opened it. Inside was a brand new suit and a card that read,
Ah, Z, I like you.
I dream about you every day. I really want to see you. I think you'd look so sexy in this. Chen Zhe immediately felt like he was dealing with a creep. He felt like he was being watched, which gave him the chills. When he called Gu Qinghan, his voice was trembling. Sister Qinghan, can you come over to my place? What's wrong? I think I have a stalker. Hearing those words, I almost burst out laughing. I bit my lip to hold it in as Gu Qinghan ended the call. I hurried to help set the dishes on the table. In 2 years of marriage, this was the first time Gu Qinghan had invited people over. Combined with their recent public display of affection, her close friends naturally assumed the two were finally a real couple. As soon as they walked in, they started giving gifts. Su Jingyao pulled out a voucher for a 58,888 night at a themed love hotel and shoved it into Gu Qinghan's hand. It's the thought that counts. Don't be too touched. Zhou Jingyao carried a mysterious gift bag. We've all used these things before. They're pretty good. So I'm sharing them with you. Gu Qinghan looked at the gifts they gave. Each one was more ridiculous than the last. I have to go out for a bit. I was bringing out the food when I heard her say she wanted to leave. I immediately looked at her with a thoughtful and understanding expression. If you have work, go ahead. I'll take good care of them. As I spoke, I placed the dish in my hand into Su Jingyao's empty hand and quickly snatched the gift from her. Go on, don't let me hold you up. Gu Qinghan saw how eager I was to kick her out, then looked at the room full of women and grabbed my wrist. You're coming with me. You're even taking him along for work.
Is your relationship really that good now?
The friends watched in amazement. You're going to work. It's not convenient for me to follow. Besides, we have guests at home. It's not right for the hosts to not be here to entertain. I tried to refuse. I had done all this to push them together, to shift her focus and make her worry about the male lead. I had spent time and money specifically to invent a stalker fan. If I go, how are they supposed to bond? Make yourselves at home. Gu Qinghan threw that line to her friends and dragged me away. So fast, I didn't even have time to put down the items in my hand. It wasn't until I was shoved into the car that I realized. The Love Hotel voucher, the adult toys. My face instantly flushed red. I immediately shoved them all toward Gu Qinghan. She might actually get to use these tonight. Her friends really know how to pick gifts. I definitely owe them a drink later. No, I really shouldn't go with her. If we both leave, what if they wreck the house? I'll stay and entertain them. You just go focus on your work. Gu Qinghan glanced at me as if she saw right through me, tossed the items into the back seat, and started the car. I didn't even bring my phone. When we arrived at Chen Zhe's place, I was planning to just stay in the car. I let her handle it while I waited for her in the car. Gu Qinghan took the keys and stepped out. I sat there watching her walk inside without a single backward glance. I started getting anxious for Chen Zhe. Unable to suppress my curiosity, I followed them to watch the drama unfold from the doorway. Chen Zhe was pacing restlessly inside, but his face lit up when he saw Gu Qinghan. It was like he'd seen his savior. He rushed over to greet her immediately. He showed her the card and recounted everything that had happened. Without even realizing it, she had become the first person he thought of whenever he was in trouble. With her around, he felt safe and at peace, but she was already married. He had no choice but to suppress his feelings for her. He had to keep his distance and remain just a friend. She didn't love me, but she still fulfilled her duties as a wife. She always kept her distance from him, and he was just waiting for her to get a divorce. When I mentioned we were getting a divorce, the love he had buried deep in his heart finally took root. It began to sprout and grow wildly, becoming impossible to restrain. The package only had Chen Ze's shipping address on it. Gu Qinghan checked the surveillance footage and called someone to track the package for an investigation. Then she put her phone away and looked at him. Until we clear this up, don't stay here anymore. Watching them have such a dry, boring conversation, without even a hint of a lingering gaze or cheap physical contact, was driving me crazy. Where was the comforting hug for the poor, frightened soul? Where were the CEO's tender words? The kiss, the R-rated scenes. Can you guys stop holding back? Even a Ninja Turtle would be put to shame by this. I absent-mindedly toyed with a potted plant in front of me. I was just touching the leaves, but seeing zero progress between them made me so frustrated that by the time I snapped out of it, I had ripped the plant out by its roots. Chen Ze walked out right then and saw me, totally misinterpreting it as me being furious. He started trembling, trying to explain himself. Brother Chen, I immediately put the plant down and forced a smile. I was even faster to explain than he was. Sorry, I just got bored waiting and accidentally used too much force. I'll buy you a new one tomorrow. Gu Qinghan shot me a look, her expression unreadable. Chen Ze just stood there dazed, waving his hands frantically. No need really, it's fine. I didn't want to get in the way of them bonding, so I hurried ahead of everyone. Chen Ze was still completely bewildered. Sister Qinghan is Brother Chen. Did he misunderstand? Is he angry? Gu Qinghan narrowed her eyes at my retreating figure. Don't worry about him. I quickly made it back to the car. I hopped into the back seat, leaving the passenger seat for Chen Ze. Chen Ze felt it wasn't right for him to sit in the front. He tried to get in the back, but I turned him down. He sat in the passenger seat, looking incredibly uneasy. He clearly wanted to explain something to me, but seeing my eyes closed as if I didn't want to be disturbed, he gave up. He instinctively glanced toward Gu Qinghan, only to see her looking at me through the rearview mirror. He asked her about the divorce, but she dodged the question. Just a moment ago, he thought I had followed them inside, but it turned out I had come in her car. Shez starting to worry that I'll misunderstand their relationship. His heart immediately sank into a panic. It felt like something was slipping through his fingers. Gu Qinghan started the car and glanced at him. Have you eaten? Not yet. After those two lines, the car fell into a strange, heavy silence. I peeked up a few times. I didn't see any other interaction between them. I just wanted to turn invisible and shove their heads together so they'd finally kiss. Su Jingyao watched us. Don't you guys think Qinghan is totally ditching her friends for her man? She had business to handle and even took Mu Chen with her. What else could it mean? She's probably afraid you'll hit on her husband. Song Jingwan frowned. I don't think they're coming back after going out like that. Maybe we should just head home. Su Jingyao pouted. I already gave her the gift. Why should I leave? Not only am I staying, but I'm also going to eat her out of house and home. Su Jingyao went straight to the wine cellar, pulled out the most expensive bottle, and opened it to celebrate. Then she saw that I had returned. I looked upset and was walking very fast. Gu Qinghan and Chen Ze followed behind me, one after the other. The sight left all three of them stunned. I downed a large glass of water to cool the frustration burning inside me. Afraid that Gu Qinghan might find some clues, I had even gone out of my way to withdraw cash. All that effort, and there was still no progress between them. I wasn't ready to give up. After finishing my water, I saw the bottle they had opened. A great idea hit me. Get them drunk and let nature take its course. Chen Ze went straight to Gu Qinghan the moment he had trouble. And the second she got his call, she ditched her best friends. She rushed right over. If that isn't mutual love, I don't know what is. Shez only refusing to divorce because she wants to torture me. I have to say, this female CEO holds a serious grudge. For the sake of my beautiful single life, I greeted them with a bright smile.
Oh, you've already started drinking. Perfect.
I'll go grab 2 more bottles. Nobody's leaving tonight until we're all wasted. The 3 of them watched in confusion as I happily went to fetch more wine. Su Jingyao's eyes widened. Is Gu Qinghan really bringing her husband along to pick up her rival? Song Qingwan shook her head. It looks like Sister Qinghan wants to have her cake and eat it too. Chu Jingyao clicked her tongue twice. I'm so jealous. Gu Qinghan and Chen Ze walked over to the table. I had already returned with 2 bottles of wine. I took a seat at the very end. I left 2 adjacent seats open for them. Gu Qinghan sat in the middle, with Chen Ze right next to her. He greeted them with a hint of awkwardness. Su Jingyao smiled. I've heard so much about the famous star. It's finally an honor to meet you in person. I immediately seized the opportunity. Well then, you should definitely buy him a drink. Gu Qinghan glanced at me, her expression neutral. The other women all turned their gaze toward me as well. I looked back at them, acting clueless. Did I say something wrong? Shouldn't we have a drink? Su Jingyao laughed and raised her glass.
Of course. Of course.
Mister, Big star, let me toast you. This was Chen Ze's first time having dinner with Gu Qinghan's friends, so naturally he couldn't refuse. He politely finished the drink with her. I immediately grabbed the bottle. With an enthusiastic smile, I stood up to pour more. Brother Chen, there's no need. I can do it myself. You're an honored guest that Gu Qinghan personally picked up. How could I let you serve yourself? Gu Qinghan toyed with her wine glass. She shot me a cold, unreadable look. The others were completely lost, but kept watching the show anyway. After pouring the wine, I looked at Chu Jingyao, who was sitting next to Su Jingyao. Aren't you going to toast our big star too? Chu Jingyao curled her lips, raising her glass with a somewhat nonchalant smile. I'm not the type to be rude. Just as Chu Jingyao was about to toast Chen Ze, Gu Qinghan gave her a chilling glare. If you want to drink, drink by yourself. Then she turned to Chen Ze. You don't need to pay them any mind. It's fine. I can handle it. Chen Ze still raised his glass to drink with her. I'll toast the big star as well. Who wants to be the rude one here? Song Qingwan followed suit and raised her glass to Chen Ze. Chen Ze didn't have a high tolerance. 3 glasses in, and he was already feeling it. I went back to my seat and encouraged everyone to eat. Then I shifted my target back to Gu Qinghan. Before I could even think of something, Gu Qinghan looked coldly at the 3 women across from us. You're only toasting him. Isn't that a bit biased and impolite? She was clearly telling them to toast me too. She was obviously venting her frustration on Chen Ze's behalf. Chu Jingyao chuckled, swirling her wine. He's the guest, so it's only natural we toast him first. You invited us to dinner, yet you didn't toast us first. Instead, you're telling us to toast the host, who's really being rude here. At that moment, I really wanted to give her a thumbs up. I glanced at Chen Ze. He didn't look so good. Perfect. Hez jealous. Shez trying to mark her territory as the host. I immediately stepped in to smooth things over, filling her glass and then my own. Oh, don't blame her. It was my lack of foresight. Come on, honey. Let's toast everyone together. Gu Qinghan shot me a freezing look. I winked at her, and when she didn't budge, I pinched her thigh under the table. As expected, getting physical was the only way to get a reaction. Gu Qinghan's face darkened instantly, but she coldly raised her glass. Gu Qinghan has a high tolerance. I just need Chen Zi to get drunk. It doesn't matter if she gets tipsy or not. I just need her to have a little liquid courage in her system. Seeing her drink, I stopped worrying about them and started eating. To make sure Gu Qinghan didn't have a chance to boss me around, I stayed away from the crab and lobster. Gu Qinghan looked annoyed seeing me eat so heartily. Every now and then, Shed hit me with an icy stare. I ignored it. But when she looked at me again, I intentionally misinterpreted her gaze.
You want some too?
I immediately picked up a piece of braised pork and stuffed it into her mouth. The next second, I saw this woman. This germaphobe woman's expression turned even more hideous. I felt an indescribable surge of satisfaction. I glanced at Chen Ze, who was biting his lip and fidgeting. I took another sip of wine. Excellent. The provocation is working perfectly. After dinner, Su Jingyao and the others wanted to keep the party going. They wanted to play more, but Gu Qinghan kicked them out. I wanted to make a run for it too, so I checked my phone and made up an excuse. My mom needs me for something. Let me give her a call. I headed out while on the phone, leaving the living room to Gu Qinghan and Chen Ze. But before I could step out, I heard Gu Qinghan's warning. 5 minutes. If I don't see you back here in 5 minutes, today will be the last happy day of your life. I grit my teeth in anger. This woman, why isn't she thinking about her beloved right now?
Why is she obsessing over me?
Chen Ze looked at Gu Qinghan with a dizzy head. His face flushed bright red. Sister Qinghan, I don't feel so good. He really was struggling. She had brought him home for dinner, and when others toasted him, she had clearly tried to protect him. It made him feel like he actually had a place in her heart. But the way she looked at me had changed. It didn't seem like pure disgust anymore. She even ate the food I gave her. Seeing her like that made him feel miserable. He knew very well she had been forced into that marriage years ago. He always thought she was just a victim of circumstance. He believed that one day she would be free, and they would be together. But now he felt that if things continued like this, he would lose her. He was panicking. Gu Qinghan checked her watch and looked down at him. I'll call your assistant to come pick you up. She took out her phone to find the number. Chen Ze suddenly stood up, knocking her phone to the floor. He stumbled and fell into her arms. Sister Qinghan, can I stay here?
That package today.
I'm scared. I don't want to sleep alone. Gu Qinghan reached out to steady him. She created some distance and looked down at him. Then I'll have your assistant stay with you. Chen Ze looked up at her with teary, shimmering eyes. I don't want my assistant. I want you. Gu Qinghan frowned. Sister Qinghan. Chen Ze reached out and grabbed the hem of her shirt. He stared at the face that captivated him, yet remained a total mystery.
Have you?
Fallen for Brother Chen. What am I supposed to do? I've waited for you for so many years. I had called the manager of the talent agency. The answer was that out of 10 people, only 3 had signed up, 2 women and 1 man. I was a bit surprised. Are rookie standards that high nowadays? Well, whatever. I looked for them first, because they were artists from our own company. I wanted to give them a chance to shine. If they don't want it, I won't force them. I asked for the contact info of those who agreed to come. Then I turned around to see what was happening inside. I saw the 2 of them in an intimate physical embrace. Gyu Qinghan stood like a wall, shielding Chen Zhe from view. I could only see through the gap between her legs that they were standing very close. At that distance, with Chen Zhe clutching her clothes. What else could they be doing besides kissing? Kissing, hugging. Are they going to carry him to the bedroom next? Alcohol really is a miracle worker. I couldn't help but smirk. Too bad I was too far away to hear anything. In that 100,000-word novel, the female lead never said a single romantic thing. I was curious to see what this woman would look like when she confessed her love. While I was watching intently, Gyu Qinghan suddenly turned her head toward me. Seen enough. If you've seen enough, get your ass over here. What a freak. She's doing that, and she still has eyes in the back of her head. If you're done kissing, why aren't you taking him to the bedroom? Why call me over? I reluctantly walked over. Gyu Qinghan looked at me.
Phone.
I grit my teeth and smiled, picking up her phone and handing it back. The next second, Gyu Qinghan shoved the drunken Chen Zhe into my arms. Hez sleeping with you tonight. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. You're letting him sleep with me, aren't you afraid it'll poison him? Gyu Qinghan unbuttoned her collar as she walked upstairs without looking back. If he dies, you're going down with him. I grit my teeth. If he slept with you, wouldn't all 3 of us be better off? Gyu Qinghan finally stopped in her tracks. She turned to look at me, her gaze like venom. Do you think everyone is as easy as you are? I was speechless.
How am I easy?
I'm actually very picky about looks and physique, you know?
I want to sleep with you.
Chen Zhe mumbled, wrapping his arms around my neck. He kept nuzzling his head against me. This woman actually managed to restrain herself from touching him. Shez, showing him so much respect. True love really is different. I snapped back to reality when Chen Zhe spoke again. He said he wants to sleep with you. Gyu Qinghan acted like she didn't hear me. She slammed her bedroom door shut. I had no choice but to lug Chen Zhe back to my room. Chen Zhe wouldn't let go, thinking I was Gyu Qinghan. Sister Qinghan, I love you. From the very first moment I saw you, I've loved you. I really truly love you. I recorded it all and sent it to Gyu Qinghan. I was trying to add fuel to the fire of their romance. Instead, I ended up digging my own grave. Gyu Qinghan sent a message back. Since you're so free, have you written your little tribute on social media yet? I see you're quite good at complimenting women. 500 words of praise shouldn't be a problem for you, right? I was speechless. Praise her. Besides her face, what is there to praise? I grit my teeth and pulled up a template for praising a woman's beauty from a CEO novel. I copied the whole thing. Then I added some extra spice about lusting after her body just to gross her out. Your face is like a masterpiece sculpted by the gods. So perfect that even the heavens must be jealous. You are truly one of a kind, so cool and peerless. The Pacific Ocean is just a collection of my drool over you. Could you please stop stealing my soul? I want to be yours to feel your lips on mine. Not long after I sent the assignment, Gyu Qinghan sent another message. Don't you dare forget breakfast tomorrow morning. I was so wired that I stayed up for another 2 hours writing scripts. In the morning, I woke up to my alarm and instinctively rolled over. I opened my eyes to find myself hugging Chen Zhe. Chen Zhe realized he was in my bed. His face turned bright red and his mind went blank. Why am I here? The male lead is definitely the male lead. He looks so innocent and adorable. I couldn't help but tease him. Last night you wouldn't let go of me, insisting on sleeping in my bed. Chen Zhe looked at me in utter disbelief. I didn't expect this. I've done so many terrible things to you in the past, and yet you still love me this much. You've successfully piqued my interest. How about you become my man from now on? Chen Zhe stared at me, blushing furiously, his whole world spinning. I looked at him, remembering all the things the original owner of this body had done. If I could get his forgiveness, then that whole blackmail situation, maybe that could be resolved too. Sleep a bit longer. I'll go make breakfast for you. Chen Zhe heard the bedroom door close. He instinctively pulled back the covers to check himself. His lost memories began to flood back piece by piece. He had confessed to Gyu Qinghan. All those words were meant for her, but I had heard every single word. Did I really misunderstand? Or was I just pretending? I used to love Gyu Qinghan so much that I forced her to marry me. How could I possibly be into men? But now, I seemed like a completely different person. It was as if I didn't love Gyu Qinghan at all anymore. And every time I saw him, I started smiling so brightly. I really did go to make breakfast for him. Chen Zhe tossed and turned in bed, feeling restless. He had no idea how to face Gyu Qinghan or me. He wanted to sneak away, but the moment he stepped out the door, he ran into Gyu Qinghan. Gyu Qinghan was radiating her usual feminine charm. She felt like someone distant and unreachable. Chen Zhe fidgeted with his fingers, not daring to look at her. I was drunk last night. If I said anything stupid, please don't take it to heart. You're an actor? You should know better than anyone. One wrong word in public could ruin your entire career. Gyu Qinghan glanced at him as if nothing had happened. Getting drunk is a taboo for someone in your position. He confessed and she didn't give him an answer. Was that a rejection, or was she just treating it as drunken rambling? Chen Zi couldn't tell. He bit his lip. It won't happen again. Gyu Qinghan glanced at the dining table downstairs. Is he still not up?
Heads up.
He said he was making breakfast. Chen Zi's face heated up and he hurried downstairs. He grabbed his phone, intending to say his goodbyes. I walked out of the kitchen carrying the noodles. I noticed they weren't acting intimate at all. Didn't they kiss last night? Why do they seem even more distant after a night's sleep?
You two are up just in time.
Come eat breakfast. Chen Zai gave me a flickering look. I won't eat. I have things to do. Even if you're busy, you have to eat first. Without a second thought, I walked over and pulled him to the table. Chen Zai stared at my hand gripping his arm. The blush on his face deepened. I pushed him down into a chair. He looked completely flustered.
Do I
Actually like him. Gi Qinghan looked at Chen Zai. Then she looked at me as I went back to the kitchen before sitting down across from him. He didn't bully you last night, did he? Chen Zai denied it repeatedly. No, not at all. I came out carrying a bowl of noodles in each hand and asked curiously, what not at all? Gyu Qinghan glanced at Chen Zai, then at me. Then she looked at the bowl of noodles I placed in front of Chen Zai. It had a heart-shaped fried egg on top. She looked at my bowl. It also had a heart. Then she looked at her own bowl, no heart. Chen Zai saw the heart-shaped egg. The blush that had just faded rushed right back to his cheeks. I sat down, glanced at him, and then at Gu Qinghan.
try it?
I made it myself. Chen Zai was at a loss. Gu Qinghan shot me a look. Is this all there is? I put on a serious face and spoke in a righteous, lecturing tone. I was afraid that if I made too much, it would go to waste. We have beef, eggs, and greens. Isn't that plenty? You're a CEO. You've got money. You should do more for charity instead of being wasteful. I didn't want to make a fancy breakfast like the original owner used to, but I also couldn't let her get upset and take it out on me. Chen Zai couldn't help but look up when he heard that. I've suddenly learned to appreciate the struggles of the common people. I gave him a smile.
Ah, Z, don't you think I'm right?
Chen Zai was stunned, by the way. I called him Zai, calling him that gives me goosebumps. Gyu Qinghan shot me a sharp look. It felt like she wanted to bore a hole right through my face. Don't your cheeks hurt from saying such things? Without missing a beat, I flashed Chen Zi a dazzling smile. The past is the past. Now that I know better, I'm making amends.
Isn't that right, Z?
Chen Zai nearly choked on his noodles. I immediately grabbed a tissue and poured him some water. Gyu Qinghan watched as I doted on Chen Zai. Without a word, she picked up her chopsticks and took a bite of the noodles. My eyes were only on Chen Zai. Well, is it good? Chen Zai was forced to answer. It's good. My cooking isn't half bad either. Tell me what you like and I'll cook it for you next time. Chen Zi choked again. Gyu Qinghan finally couldn't take it anymore and looked up at me. Do you enjoy cooking that much? Why don't you just cater lunch for the entire company then? I was speechless. A man being nice to Chen Zai, and She's actually jealous, then why doesn't she just marry him already? She finished the rest of the noodles in a few quick bites. I won't disturb your little world anymore. I'll go clean up. Yesterday, the manager gave me the contract for Liu Ruyan. I went back to the kitchen and picked up my phone. I told the company to set up a meeting with her mother this morning. Hearing the car, I saw Chen Zai leave in Gu Qinghan's car before I went upstairs to tidy up. An hour later, in a private room at the tea house, Liu Ruyan's mother, Zhao Liquan, arrived late. When Zhao Liquan saw it was me, the useless only son of the Mu family. Disgust immediately washed over her face.
Where is Manager Yang?
Thinking about what she had done to her own daughter, my expression soured as well. Manager Yang is busy. He asked me to speak with you. You? Do you even understand any of this? Zhao Liquan realized this wasn't about a script collaboration, but about signing a contract with her daughter. She threw it back at me, looking at me like I was an idiot. Did you bring the wrong documents? Manager Yang said there was a new movie for us. I leaned back on the sofa, crossing my legs as I looked at her. To be honest, we want to sign Liu Ruyan to our agency. Then, I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you. Zhao Liquan grabbed her bag and stood up to leave. I calmly said one thing. Your daughter has severe depression. The entertainment industry has no shortage of actors. If this secret gets out, do you think anyone would risk casting her? Zhao Liquan's face turned pale as she whipped around to look at me. How do you know? She buys medicine in secret and hasn't seen a doctor. How could you possibly know? I rested my arm on the sofa, looking at her indifferently. I know much more than that. For instance, how you and your husband are addicted to gambling. When you run out of money, you exploit your daughter by forcing her to act. You make her entertain clients at drinks without a single care for her condition. If this were to be leaked online, what do you think her devoted fans would do? That 1,000-word suicide note was now my trump card to control her. Zhao Liquan stared at me, trying to regain her composure.
Don't! Talk nonsense!
Do you have any proof? Do you think I'd be talking to you if I didn't have proof? I tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. I don't actually have proof, but everything I said was the truth. You think that by not taking her to a doctor, you can hide her depression. And what about the scars on her legs from cutting herself over and over? The scars on her legs from cutting herself over and over. How do you plan on hiding those? Zhao Liquan's legs gave out and she collapsed onto the sofa. Did she tell you? If she were willing to tell anyone, do you think she would have waited this long? Anger surged within me. It was as if I was seeing that hopeless girl from 3 years ago all over again. Walls have ears, and secrets always find a way out. I simply put in more effort because I wanted to sign her. She sees you as her mother and doesn't want you to become a target of public scorn, but am no philanthropist. I've already uncovered everything you've done. Do you want to become a pariah that everyone wants to hunt down until you disappear? Or do you want to keep making money off of her? After speaking, I stood up and gave her a mocking smile. I'm curious. Seeing her suffer such torment, how can you be heartless enough to keep exploiting her? But I didn't have the chance. I wanted an answer from her, but clearly this woman couldn't give me one. I remembered my own years of being beaten, scolded, and exploited. Leaving the private room, a surge of emotion made my eyes turn red. I leaned against the wall, tilting my chin up to calm myself down. Gu Qinghan had just finished a meeting and was stepping out of her private room. That's when she saw me outside the room next door. I was leaning against the wall, all alone. Tears were streaming down my face. I reached up to wipe them away, looking utterly heartbroken. The word heartbroken was certainly a new one to associate with me. The person with her noticed her stop. They instinctively glanced over. Is something wrong? CEO Gu? Gu Qinghan narrowed her eyes and turned to say a few words. By the time she looked back, I was already gone. Gu Qinghan had someone check the surveillance footage. Back at the company, she called Xu Yao into her office. Find out what Mu Chen and Zhao Liquan talked about today. Half an hour later, Xu Yao called to report. The master went to talk to Zhao Liquan about signing Lu Ruyan. Since when did I start meddling in the Mu Corporation's business? Gu Qinghan recalled that time on the street, when I had initiated a hug with that young starlet. So, was he heartbroken because he couldn't sign her? Gu Qinghan tossed her phone aside and tugged at her collar. Her chest still felt tight. She undid another button at her neck. Sign her to the company. Xu Yao glanced at her.
It'll get right on it.
After Xu Yao left, Gu Qinghan's phone suddenly rang. She picked it up to check. Account ending in 3456 spent 128,888 yuan. Account ending in 3456 spent 38,888 yuan. Spending her money while thinking about another woman. I didn't see Gu Qinghan at the tea house. Once I composed myself, I headed straight to the mall. I bought a full set of cosmetics for Wen Yudong and a few ties for Mu Jianzhang. I was about to head back to the Mu residence when Gu Qinghan sent me a text. Since you're so good at shopping, buy me 2 outfits and bring them here. I gritted my teeth and replied, fine. I didn't even know her clothing size. I asked Xu Yao for her measurements and bought her 2 sets of business attire. I got back into the car. Lu Ruyan, who I'd added but never spoken to, sent me a message. Sir, I'd like to meet and talk about the contract. I checked the time and set a meeting for the afternoon. I drove to the Gu Group. I brought the clothes I bought to the CEO's office. My dear CEO, here are the clothes you requested. Gu Qinghan looked at my fake smile, then glanced at the shopping bags.
Ugly.
Go buy something else.
How is this any different from what you're wearing now? If it's ugly, why do you wear it every day? If you know I wear this every day, do you really think I'm lacking this kind of clothing? Gu Qinghan looked at me coldly, her dissatisfaction evident. It didn't seem like she was just trying to be difficult.
Then what kind do you want?
Hard to say. I'll know it when I see it. My fists clenched. I gritted my teeth and forced a smile. Fine. I'll go buy more for you right now. Gu Qinghan checked her watch. No rush. It's lunchtime. You can go in the afternoon? I was just starting to think this bitch had a shred of humanity left when I heard her continue. Go home and cook first. I want braised pork and steamed sea bass. This bitch is even ordering off a menu now. And she specifically chose dishes that are time-consuming and a pain to make. Having money, but still having to cook for yourself is truly unacceptable. I bought the groceries and went to the Mu house, having the maid prep the ingredients. I was only responsible for seasoning the pot. I left the rest of the simmering to the maid. Then I went to my room to catch up on some sleep. After eating, I brought lunch to the company for Gu Qinghan, and then went to pick out clothes for her. I'd never bought clothes for a woman before, and I didn't want to waste any effort on that bitch. At the clothing store, I just told the staff to pick out a few pre-styled outfits for me. Then I took photos of them. I browsed the men's section while sending her one of the outfits. Do you like this one? Gu Qinghan replied.
Ugly.
I picked out 2 men's outfits to try on. I sent the second one. Gu Qinghan replied.
Ugly.
After trying on my clothes, I patiently sent her the third one. Gu Qinghan replied.
Ugly.
I pulled out her credit card. I'm in a hurry. I'll take these 2 men's outfits first. As for the women's clothes, just keep styling them and send me the photos. Gu Qinghan was clearly doing this on purpose. I'd be a fool to stay here and keep picking things out for her. I had my ways of dealing with her. A wealthy only child with money, forced Gu Qinghan into marriage, loving her to death. If I'm looking at women's clothes, it must be for my wife. I certainly wouldn't spare any expense. Seeing such a fat sheep of a customer, the clerk pulled out her phone. She added my contact info and saw me off. She brought out every piece of women's clothing in the store and went through the trouble of styling them all. I sent Gu Qinghan a photo of the fifth outfit. Then I went to a tea house with good ambiance and privacy. I booked a private room. As I was entering, Wu Zhikai stepped out of the room opposite mine. He was heading to the restroom and froze when he saw me. Chen Zhe said I'd changed lately. Even my style of dress had changed quite a bit. I sent my location to Lu Ruyan. After ordering drinks, sweets, and some snacks, I opened my laptop. I continued writing my script while dealing with Gu Qinghan. Wu Zhikai returned from the restroom and saw a waiter carrying drinks and snacks for two into the room across from him. 20 minutes later, I saw a woman wearing a hat and a mask push open the door to the private room. Such a big change. Turns out he has a new lover. As Chen Zhe's best friend, he knew exactly how Id bullied Chen Zhe over the years. He knew every single detail. Gu Qinghan already hated me, so if she found out I was sneaking around with another woman, wouldn't she hate me even more? He sent a message directly to Gu Qinghan. Your husband is on a date with a starlet at the Rewind Tea House. When Gu Qinghan saw the message, she immediately called to track my location. I saw Lu Ruyan arrive and gave her a greeting. I closed my laptop and took a sip of my orange juice. I sent Gu Qinghan another photo. I put my phone away and looked up to see Lu Ruyan taking off her hat and mask to look at me. At 20, she was in the prime of her youth. Her face was like a gift from the heavens. Her skin looked as if it had been soaked in milk. Her obsidian eyes naturally held a hint of deep affection. When she smiled, fans would lose their minds. When she didn't, she had a melancholic air about her. A beauty who could make people scream even through a screen was now sitting right across from me, staring. I took a sip of my drink and said casually,
What? Fallen for me already?
Lu Ruyan immediately looked away in embarrassment. She took 2 sips of her water before looking at me again. I'm just curious how you convinced my mother. It seemed Zhao Liquan hadn't told her about my threats. I chuckled. Naturally, the terms I offered were too good for her to resist.
But why would you offer such good terms?
Because you're worth it. Feeling that sounded a bit misleading, I added another sentence. You're so talented. I believe you'll bring even greater value in the future. Lu Ruyan stared at me for a long time. If she had finally confirmed something. Sir, your taste really isn't that great. I looked up at her, my face a giant question mark. Lu Ruyan looked at me and narrowed her eyes. You like Gu Qinghan, but the whole world knows she doesn't love you. And not as outstanding as you think. I ignored the first half of her sentence and just smiled. My calm gaze seemed to see right through her. Feeling the pressure already, afraid you'll disappoint me.
Lu Ruyan's gaze deepened.
There was no love or infatuation in the way I looked at her. Yet, she felt like I understood her perfectly. Like I could see her true self. It was as if I knew she was suffocating in the cage her mother built, and was using this contract to set her free, staring at me like that. Did I hit the nail on the head? My phone rang just as I was eating dessert. I checked it. It was a reply from Gu Qinghan.
Ugly.
I sent her another photo. Gu Qinghan looked at the photo I sent. Her grip on the steering wheel tightened, and she floored the accelerator. 15 minutes later, she was standing outside my private room. I sent her yet another photo. I had just put my phone down when the door slammed against the wall with a loud bang, trembling from the impact. Then, Gu Qinghan walked toward me with a dark expression. Her aura was aggressive. Before I could even think, she yanked me up. She pulled me into a tight, forceful embrace. Our body heat instantly mingled. I was a bit startled. This toxic woman is really pushing herself this time. Looks like she is pretty pissed about being tricked. Sir. Lu Ruyan stood up, looking at me with concern. Gu Qinghan shot her a cold glance, then spoke in a frigid tone. Tell her to get out. Without a hint of fear, I looked at Lu Ruyan. I signaled for her to leave. You should head back first. Lu Ruyan looked at me, then at Gu Qinghan. I gave her a reassuring look. Go on. My gaze toward Lu Ruyan was warm. Unlike when I looked at her, that smile was always so fake.
Ha!
You like her that much?
Intent on shattering my pleasant dream, Gu Qinghan grabbed me
and pinned me against the table, her hands braced on the edge. Her body was almost pressed against mine. She shot a cold glare at Lu Ruyan. What do you want to watch us live stream right here? I couldn't help but chuckle to myself. You can't even handle a single touch. Yet you're talking about live streaming.
Lu Ruyan had no choice but to leave.
The room was suddenly left with just the two of us. Gu Qinghan looked down at me. Her icy eyes held a brewing storm. So, you've learned how to play games with me. I gave her a weak look. You told me to pick out clothes for you, so that's what I was doing. I looked at every outfit the shop owner sent very carefully. Whenever I saw a nice one, I sent it to you. Since you're so angry, could it be that you're jealous because I'm having tea with another woman? I touched her collarbone. I knew exactly what would disgust her. Suggesting she liked me, there was no way she could stand that. Gu Qinghan looked at me coldly, as if she'd just heard the joke of the century. Me? Jealous. You certainly think highly of yourself. I leaned in closer, adopting a sincere, coaxing tone, subtly providing her with an excuse. Then why are you so angry? Are you unhappy with the way I'm picking out clothes? Then tell me, how exactly do you want me to choose for you? Gyu Qinghan's grip on the table edge tightened. Seeing my coaxing manner, her expression softened slightly. Then, she grabbed the wrist that was resting on her waist. She pulled me along. My laptop. I quickly grabbed my laptop and phone. She dragged me all the way to the car and shoved me inside. 15 minutes later, Gyu Qinghan took me into a women's boutique in the mall. She sat down on a lounge chair and glanced at me. Pick something for me. I grabbed the latest arrival from the most prominent display and showed it to her. How about this? Gyu Qinghan glanced at it, then went back to her phone. Clearly, it didn't catch her eye. A sales clerk immediately rushed over to help. She picked up an outfit to show me. I thought it looked pretty good. Gyu Qinghan's cold gaze immediately swept over her. I told him to choose. Not you. Say one more word and see what happens. The clerk immediately backed off and stood far away. I finally understood. This toxic woman was just getting revenge for the trick I played on her earlier. Since I didn't want to pick clothes for her, she was forcing me to do exactly that. I brought out outfit after outfit until my legs were sore. Gyu Qinghan just sat there with her legs crossed, playing on her phone. Occasionally, she'd glance up with a look of disapproval. When she couldn't take it anymore, she finally spoke. Don't just bring any random outfit to me. You're just grabbing whatever you see. Are you this careless when picking out your own clothes? Green. Are you trying to give me a green hat? I let her be picky, playing the part of the perfectly obedient husband, going along with her whims, keeping her satisfied. At the second store, I picked an outfit and made a suggestion.
I think this one's not bad.
Do you want to try it on? Gyu Qinghan glanced at me. If I tried on everything you thought was not bad,
I probably wouldn't make it out of this mall alive.
I continued to coax her, following the principle of whatever makes her happy. Then what do you think of this one? Gyu Qinghan gave it a couple of glances. It's nothing special. You can't really tell how clothes look just by staring at them. You have to put them on to know. You asked me to choose, but you don't trust my taste. Isn't this just a waste of your precious time? Gyu Qinghan shot me a look, tossed the magazine aside, and stood up. She snatched the clothes from my hand. Gyu Qinghan headed into the fitting room. I finally got a moment to rest. I took out my phone, replied to a few messages, and ordered a drink. Just as I was about to sit down, I heard someone call my name.
Mu Chen.
Buying clothes for your wife again. She stays at hotels and never comes home. Even if you buy them, will she even wear them? A man should really find a wife who knows how to care for him. Look at me out shopping. My wife insisted on coming along because she was worried I'd get tired. Zhang Jinghao was like a peacock flaunting its feathers. His words were full of mockery and bragging. His cologne was so strong I couldn't help but frown. I searched the original host's memories for this guy. He was a high school rival who always tried to compete with the original host, the young master of the Zheng family, Zhang Jinghao, a relative on Gyu Qinghan's father's side.
Right.
You and your wife are a match made in heaven, so full of love. It's so touching I could cry from envy. How about I take a photo of you two to post on social media, so everyone else can admire you too? Usually we'd go a few rounds, but this time I surrendered immediately. It seemed he thought Gyu Qinghan had hurt me so much that it'd lost all my pride as a young master. Zhang Jinghao immediately felt even more superior. He looked at me with even more pity. I'm not trying to show off. I just think you're pathetic. You've chased Gyu Qinghan for years and she won't even touch you. I'm telling you to wake up. Clinging to her like this is just embarrassing. The whole internet knew about the original host's obsessive pursuit and forced marriage. Usually people would point and whisper wherever he went. Now, comparing a famous loving couple to a desperate stalker, the crowd of onlookers grew, eager for drama. It really is pathetic. You're an embarrassment to all men. If I were in your shoes, my father would probably roll over in his grave. Hearing the crowd, Zhang Jinghao grew even more smug. Did you hear that? Mu Chen.
Think of your parents.
Don't make yourself a laughingstock and drag them down with you. I said, thanks. I appreciate the concern. Don't waste your time on me anymore. Focus more on your wife and live your own life. Don't let your head turn into a green pasture without even knowing it. The woman who was kicked dragged Zhang Jinghao down to the ground with her. The woman was furious. Which blind brat dared to kick me? Gyu Qinghan nonchalantly gave her another kick. I'm the one, you brat. The woman immediately shut up once she saw who it was. Zhang Enghao's eyes widened in disbelief when he saw Gyu Qinghan. Gyu Qinghan, what are you doing here? Do I need to report my whereabouts to you? Gyu Qinghan gave him a cold glare. Aren't you embarrassed? Parading around with a thing like this? My drink arrived, so I sipped it while watching her beat someone up. I didn't quite get it, and I didn't want to waste brain cells trying to understand. But I have to admit, the female lead is definitely the female lead. She can pull off any style of clothing, even in casual, everyday fashion. She looks more captivating than she does in office wear. Gyu Qinghan turned around and saw me standing there, happily enjoying my drink. Her expression immediately darkened.
What are you staring at? Get over here.
I walked over, immediately turning on the charm. In that outfit, I thought some superstar had arrived. I almost didn't recognize you. Gu Qinghan glanced at me and reached out to pull me close. She looked down at me from just inches away. I could feel her breath on my face. I looked up at her, and even magnified 100 times. Her face was still absolutely flawless. I gripped my drink tighter and took a dazed sip. What's wrong? Gu Qinghan looked at me coldly and gave a blunt command. The tag is poking my neck. Take it out. I resisted the urge to snark back, stood on my tiptoes, and reached behind her neck for the tag. Suddenly, Zhang Jinghao and his wife, who had just crawled up, were stunned. The onlookers were also dazed. Wait, didn't they say he was a stalker? Didn't they say Gu Qinghan hated him? Didn't they say she was staying faithful to someone else? Rumors really can't be trusted. How could a rich young master be brainless enough to stalk someone forever? If the way Gu Qinghan looks at him is love, he'll do a handstand while eating dirt. Gu Qinghan is tall. I stood on my tiptoes, trying to keep my distance while reaching, which was a bit difficult. Before I could get the tag, I lost my balance and fell into her arms. The faint scent of her hair immediately filled my nose. Gu Qinghan stood there, her body stiffening. I felt awkward for a second, then quickly pulled the tag out. Before I could pull away, Gu Qinghan wrapped her arm around my waist, pulling me deeper into her embrace. I was forced to look up at her. Gu Qinghan looked down at me with a half-smile that carried a hint of mockery. I told you to get the tag, yet you threw yourself into my arms. Still claim you don't have designs on me. I reached out and touched her waist.
Wow, you actually figured that out.
My mouth claimed I had no intentions, but my eyes were completely devoid of any affection. Gu Qinghan stared at me, her gaze dark and unreadable. I leaned in closer, my warm breath brushing against the corner of her lips. To be honest, I even dreamed of kissing you last night. The next second, Gu Qinghan pushed me away exactly as I expected. She gave me a grim look, then shot a cold glare at the crowd of onlookers. Everyone immediately dispersed. Gu Qinghan took out her ringing phone to answer. President Gu Liu Ruyan has signed the contract with the Mu Group. Gu Qinghan glanced at me while I was sipping my juice, then went her over to our side. I finished my cold juice and looked at Gu Qinghan, feeling refreshed. I saw her staring at me with a sour expression. Did saying I had no designs on her really make her that angry? Does she want me to get lost then? I waited for her to speak, but Gu Qinghan said nothing and went to change her clothes. She told me to go pay. After I settled the bill, Gu Qinghan turned and walked into a shoe store. She sat down and gave me a cold look. What are you standing there for? Pick some out for me. I picked a pair for her. How about these? Gu Qinghan let out a cold smirk. How can you tell if they're good just by looking? You have to try them on to know. I handed the shoes to her. Gu Qinghan just glanced at me.
Fine.
I get it now. You manipulative woman. Since trying on clothes didn't torture me enough, you switched to shoes. I gritted my teeth, smiled, and knelt down beside her, massaging her calf.
Lift your foot.
Gu Qinghan gave me a cold look. I put the new shoes on for her.
How are they? Not great?
Gu Qinghan glanced away and took out her phone. I looked around the shoe store, not wanting to help her anymore. But Gu Qinghan had no intention of letting me off. If you can't pick one, then try them all on, one by one. I cursed her entire ancestry while fitting the shoes on her. Gu Qinghan handled a couple of work messages. In her group chat with friends, Su Jingyao sent a photo. It was her holding my waist, and me touching her waist, a side profile of us looking into each other's eyes. Su Jingyao sent a message. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Song Qingwan also messaged. Qinghan has changed. Su Jingyao shared a news headline. Gu Qinghan does not like Mu Chen. When I opened the link, that photo from earlier was inside. There was also a photo of me falling into her arms, him looking at me and me looking at her. As the person involved, she knew better than anyone. There was absolutely no love in my eyes when I looked at her. And the way she looked at me wasn't love either, but the atmosphere in the photo created an illusion of romance. Even she was momentarily dazed. The comment section believed it was real. Netizens these days are so good at sarcasm. I was totally fooled by the headline. I came here for the drama, but you stuffed my mouth with PDA.
Where are your manners?
You call this not in love? If this isn't love, then what is? Mu Chen is truly a winner in life. The way she looks at him makes me want to swap places with him immediately. God, please say something. It's fine that you gave them wealth and looks, but you gave them love too. Why am I a 000 loser? Which direction do I need to pray to get a woman like that?
At bro above, I tried it.
Dreaming is faster. Xu Yao immediately called to have the hot search removed. She had followed the CEO for many years. The CEO hated being on the hot search with her husband the most, especially those posts about their affection. Every time she saw them, she ordered them taken down. If she was too slow, she'd get scolded and lose her bonus. This time, she had to handle it perfectly and cleanly. Su Jingyao sent a message.
Let's not hang out tonight. I'm full from all that PDA.
Su Jingyao sent another message. Send less of this kind of news next time. I don't like seeing it. She looked down at me, feeling like I was cursing her. You seem very reluctant to help me try on shoes.
How could that be? Forget shoes.
I'd be more than happy to help you try on clothes too. How about I help you try on a few more outfits later? Gu Qinghan glanced at me. Are you trying to be a pervert? That fake smile made my throat tighten.
Fine.
I was genuinely confused. Gu Qinghan stood up with a smile.
Don, wait.
Let's go right now. I was speechless. Doesn't this manipulative woman hate me? Doesn't she especially hate it when I lust after her? I was dragged into a clothing store by her. Before I could even do anything, Gu Qinghan grabbed 2 outfits and pulled me straight into the fitting room. The space was limited, and we were facing each other at close range. The air began to feel thin. Gu Qinghan hung the clothes on the hook and glanced at me. Her gaze was deep, as if she had seen through my little tricks.
What are you standing there for?
I cursed inwardly. She's allergic to me and can't stand me touching her. So what do I have to fear? I get to watch for free and touch for free. It would be a waste not to enjoy these perks. I gritted my teeth, smiled, and reached out to unbutton her collar. Gu Qinghan looked down at me. I had to stand on my tiptoes just to reach the buttons on her shirt. My hand accidentally brushed against her skin. I could clearly feel her body tensing up. This woman is feeling disgusted again. I felt that if I didn't hurry, I wouldn't get to see anything. But it was my first time unbuttoning a woman's shirt. I had no experience and had to stay on my toes. I couldn't get it open and my arms were getting tired. The moment I let go, her button fell into my palm. Gu Qinghan's cold gaze shot down at me. I gave an embarrassed laugh. Sorry, I was in a rush. Second one. Third one. My eyes were glued to the skin beneath her shirt. No affection, only desire. Gu Qinghan took it all in, her expression shifting for a moment, just as I was about to see her. I was pushed away by Gu Qinghan. By the time I snapped out of it, I saw her taking out her phone and opening the door. She walked out, bringing a wave of cold air with her. "I'll wait for you here?" I wanted to scream. Who was the blind idiot calling her at a time like this? I sat down and took out my own phone, which was ringing incessantly. The original host's informants were sending me messages one after another. I opened them to check. Gu Qinghan was on the phone with Xu Yao while rebuttoning her shirt. "President Gu? When are you coming back to the office? There is an urgent document that needs your signature." After hanging up, she instinctively went to button up, but the button was gone. She looked at the fitting room and saw I still hadn't come out. Her face darkened and she walked straight away. Back at the office, Xu Yao held the documents. She handed them over for signing and said with a hint of pride, "President Gu, you and your husband are on the hot search again," but I reacted quickly. I had it taken down immediately. It's no longer on the charts. Gu Qinghan looked up at her. Xu Yao waited for praise that never came. She glanced at the CEO repeatedly, sensing something was wrong. Then she heard her say with a cold smirk, "I see you've been quite free lately. Within one day, I want to see all the information on the Beijiao project." Xu Yao was speechless as she left with the documents. Gu Qinghan picked up her phone to search. Gu Qinghan does not love Mu Chen. Sure enough, it was gone from the hot search. After being tortured by Gu Qinghan for so long, my desire to take her down was overwhelming. So I immediately rushed to the Mu group to find Bai Ningbing. "It's hot out there. Come in." I flopped down onto the chair. I grabbed a folder from the desk to fan myself. Bai Ningbing glanced at me and lowered the AC by a few degrees. "Aren't you supposed to be on a date with Gu Qinghan? Why are you here?" I thought back to that comment section, talking about the hot search of me and Gu Qinghan being all lovey-dovey. I still can't understand Gu Qinghan, the disgust she was suppressing toward me. How could that be mistaken for love? I looked up at Bai Ningbing. "If I were really dating her, would I have time to come see you?" Bai Ningbing looked at me. "Could it be that she actually likes you now?" "There is no way she likes me." I said it with absolute certainty. "Why are you so sure?" Bai Ningbing looked at me, her gentle gaze turning deep. I put the folder back on the desk. I've been by her side for so many years. How could I not know who she likes? The reason she's doing this is to create an illusion that our families are on great terms. So you'll lower your guard, giving her the chance to take down the Mu family. I came here to remind you to be careful of her. Gu Qinghan is threatening me, torturing me, and refusing to divorce. That show she's definitely going to follow the main plot line. Destroy the Mu family and leave me with nothing. I couldn't help but feel a bit tense. Bai Ningbing watched me. I looked overly stressed. It was as if I was certain something would happen to the company. Did the investigation find any problems with the company? I shook my head.
No.
Bai Ningbing was puzzled. The projects don't have any issues either. I sighed. None. Bai Ningbing was a bit surprised. "We can't find anything. If we can't find anything, then we can't stop the female lead scheme. In that case, I can only try to make more money." Bai Ningbing couldn't help but speak up. "That thing you showed me last time, what was the ending of that transmigration novel?" I spread my hands helplessly. "I don't know either. The author hasn't finished it. If you're interested, I'll give it to you once she's done. I'll let you read it." I took a piece of chocolate out of my pocket. I unwrapped it, ate it, and stood up to leave. Seeing her staring at me, I took another piece from my pocket and handed it to her. Then I left the company. I drove back to the Mu residence. The book said that after the Gu Group acquired Zifeng Pharmaceuticals, which had been dropping for months, started hitting the daily limit upward. In less than half a month, its market value doubled. According to the plot in the book, the acquisition should happen within the next few days.
I don't have a good excuse for this.
I can only buy it myself, but I haven't been transmigrated here long enough. My account doesn't meet the requirements to open a margin trading account. I decided to use Wen Yudong's her brokerage account. As soon as I got home, I heard Auntie Lu say that Wen Yudong was following the drama about me and Gu Qinghan online. She had been at it all afternoon. My mood became a bit complicated. Seeing me return, Wen Yudong finally put her phone away. She immediately told Auntie Lu to prepare dinner. Tell Qinghan to come over for dinner tonight. I immediately refused. She might not have time tonight. Wen Yudong urged me, just ask her. I didn't want Gu Qinghan here at all, coming over for dinner. Just because she wants to ruin the Mu family. She doesn't deserve to eat the Mu family's food. But then again, I didn't want to go home and cook for her either. I sent Gu Qinghan a message. My mom wants to invite you over for dinner tonight. Gu Qinghan replied very bluntly, not free. Seeing her reply, I felt completely relieved. Not free. Then she must be going to see Chen Zhe to explain the hot search situation, and I won't have to cook for her anymore. Gu Qinghan finished her work. She lifted her wrist to check the time, then she checked her phone again. She said she wasn't free, and he didn't even reply to her message. It seemed he really didn't want her to come. She put her phone away and stood up. It was 5:30 when she arrived at the Mu residence. In the past, every time she came to the Mu house, my parents would use subtle hints to threaten her, making her experience that feeling of being coerced over and over again. Later on, she didn't have to take the Mu family's threats anymore, and she never came back again. The moment she stepped inside, she saw me and Bai Ningbing sitting on the sofa, talking. I don't know what I was saying to her, but the smile on my face compared to the fake one I gave her was completely different. Bai Ningbing was peeling a pomegranate. Her eyes were practically glued to me. Wen Yudong walked over with a bright smile. Qinghan is here. Bai Ningbing and I finally looked up at her. I was talking to Bai Ningbing about filming short videos. Seeing Gu Qinghan arrive, I was momentarily stunned. Didn't this crazy woman say she wasn't free? Bai Ningbing glanced at Gu Qinghan. She handed me a plate of peeled pomegranate seeds. I casually took a few and popped them into my mouth. Bai Ningbing gave me a look. Take the whole thing. I was stunned for a moment, then took it. I thought she was peeling them because she wanted to eat. I didn't expect them to be for me. I don't like women like that. Then I looked at that cold face. Gu Qinghan looked at me as if I owed her hundreds of millions. I felt a bit of annoyance too. Didn't you say you weren't free? Gu Qinghan ignored Bai Ningbing. She took the pomegranate from my hand. She set it on the coffee table and gave me a cold glare. Wasn't I trying to give you a surprise? She emphasized the word surprise very heavily. After saying that, as if no one else was there, she reached out and pulled me tightly by the waist into her arms. Her breath, sometimes deep and sometimes shallow, brushed against my ear. If I had known it'd be interrupting your little flirtation with other women, I wouldn't have come. I couldn't help but roll my eyes at her.
Don't talk nonsense.
Watch your tone with me. If my family weren't here, I would definitely pounce on her like a hungry wolf and give her a taste of her own medicine to disgust her. Wen Yudong looked at Gu Qinghan. The moment she arrived, she only had eyes for her son. She happily called us for dinner. Only then did Gu Qinghan let me go. She quietly moved her hand, the one that had just been holding me. I glanced at her. I just wanted to give her 2 tissues to wipe herself. It had been a long time since Gu Qinghan came home for dinner. Mu Zhenjiang had a lot of grievances against her. He didn't even speak to her at the dinner table. For her son's sake, Wen Yudong still treated her like an honored guest, greeting her with smiles and warmth. Bai Ningbing observed quietly. In the past, at the dinner table, I would constantly put food on Gu Qinghan's plate. I'd give her all the best dishes. Now, I was only looking out for myself, eating with great appetite. Gu Qinghan couldn't help but glance at me. Seeing this, Wen Yudong couldn't help but whisper a reminder. Chen, don't just focus on eating. Take care of Qinghan a bit. I replied nonchalantly. She's a grown woman in her 20s. It's not like she's a child. Does she really need someone to look after her? I didn't want them to know that I wanted a divorce, but was being threatened. I couldn't get a divorce, so I was frustrated and irritable. Despite what I said, I still casually put some food on Gu Qinghan's plate. Everyone please eat. After serving Gu Qinghan, I served my father, then my mother, and then Bai Ningbing. Mainly, I wanted to be fair.
I love everyone.
I finished serving and was about to eat when I noticed. My parents were staring at me. Bai Ningbing was staring at me, and Gu Qinghan was staring at me too. I was a bit confused. Why is everyone staring at me instead of eating? Mu Zhenjiang looked at his son. His eyes were no longer fixed solely on Gu Qinghan. He had started putting the best food into his parents' bowls. A happy smile finally broke across his face. Honey, go get that bottle of wine I've been saving for 15 years. I thought about his ending in the book and immediately spoke up to stop him. Dad, you have the 3 highs. You can't be drinking. Wen Yudong looked at me in surprise, then quickly chimed in. That's right. Chen is absolutely right. Seeing that his son even remembered his health issues, Mu Zhenjiang's mood brightened even more. He smiled so wide that the wrinkles at the corners of his eyes deepened. All right, listen to my son. No drinking today. Wen Yudong smiled and placed some vegetables in his bowl.
Eat more greens.
Watching them laugh and smile so happily, I couldn't help but think of my own parents. The parents I tried everything to please, but they never once smiled because of me. Yet here, just a single word of concern from me was enough to make them this happy. They really are so easy to satisfy. So easy that it actually makes my heart ache. It's like looking at my past self, that person who just wanted his parents to care just a little bit. If everything I have right now is nothing more than a dream, then I'm willing to stay in this dream and never wake up. For the first time, Gu Qinghan wasn't the center of attention at the table. For the first time, this table was filled with genuine laughter, instead of a suffocating silence. After the meal, Wen Yudong and Mu Jianzhong chatted happily.
Chen has changed so much.
Even Qinghan seems to have changed. Before, she wouldn't even look her son in the eye. But today, she glanced at him several times during dinner. She actually looked a bit left out and jealous. On the other hand, Chen doesn't seem to care about her anymore. Serves her right. I think the way Chen is now is perfect. Gu Qinghan glanced at Bai Ningbing, then looked at me with an obvious, flirtatious intent. She walked straight over and pulled me right up from the sofa. Let's go home. At my parents' house, there's food, drinks, people to serve me, and people to spoil me. I didn't want to leave at all. But one look at Gu Qinghan, and that threatening gaze told me there was no room for argument. I didn't feel like bickering with her either. I said my goodbyes and headed back with her. I hadn't slept well in 2 days, so I took a shower, planning to get some real rest. Then Gu Qinghan sent me a message. No need to write a long report today. Just post that trending photo on your feed and set it to public. I gnashed my teeth in anger and played dumb.
What trending photo?
Gu Qinghan sent me the link. I feigned shock. Do you actually like me? Gu Qinghan replied 2 minutes later. If I don't see that post on your feed, I'll take you to the police station so you can find out exactly how much I like you. Cursing under my breath, I saved the photo and posted it to my feed. I added a caption just to annoy her. Forced to post this by a certain someone. Don't you guys think she's just head over heels for me? Chen Zhe was on my friends list, so he'd definitely see it. He'll probably be green with envy, right? And if he gets jealous, Gu Qinghan will have to go comfort him. Then she won't have time to torment me anymore. Very quickly, the comments started rolling in. I don't believe for a second she forced you to post that. Unless she posts one on her own feed too.
Exactly.
If she doesn't post it, I don't believe she loves you. Even if she does love you, it's not nearly as much as you love her. Su Jingyao tagged Gu Qinghan directly in their group chat. Mu Chen says you forced him to post that lovey-dovey photo. Is that true or what? Zhou Jingyao quickly joined in. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I can't even imagine it. Song Qingwan chimed in as well. Su Jingyao continued teasing. Gu Qinghan had just stepped out of the shower. When she saw the messages, she laughed out of sheer frustration. She tossed her phone aside. Every single one of them is blind. There is no love here. So how could there be any lovey-dovey feelings to show off? The next morning, after finishing breakfast, I was planning to head over to the management company, but Gu Qinghan called out to me. Come to the office with me. I reluctantly tried to decline. What am I going to do at your office? Gu Qinghan gave a cold snort. So you can fulfill your duty of being available whenever I call. I didn't back down. I don't need to be at the office to guarantee I'll be there when you call. Gu Qinghan seemed to see right through me. She gave me a warning look. I'm giving you 2 minutes. This crazy woman really knows how to make my life miserable. I had no choice but to grab my laptop and follow her to the company. The director's side had already started the pre-production for the film. I originally intended to go to the management company, to have my manager accompany me to the schools, to scout for the male and female leads. Now, that's out of the question. The management company belongs to the Mu Group. Lu Ruyan arrived to sign her contract. While in the restroom, Xia Yudong started mocking me. A rich playboy who only knows how to chase women. Doesn't know the first thing about anything. Even if he actually makes a movie, what kind of garbage could he possibly produce? Chu Muqing agreed.
Exactly.
If it were actually a good script, it wouldn't fall to rookies like us. The actors with even a bit of fame in the company would have snatched it up long ago. I heard they approached brother Ming and sister He to play the leads, but they both turned it down. Xia Yudong continued her sneering. Anyone with a reputation doesn't want to touch it. I don't know where he gets the nerve to have such high standards. You want to join, but he won't even give you a supporting role. Sun Jinglin explained softly. I don't have any experience. If he can give me a supporting role, I'd already be more than satisfied. Chu Muqing curled her lip. They don't even have the leads yet. It's not even certain if this movie will ever get filmed. Who knows if He's just doing this on a whim. Sun Jinglin remembered how I was encouraging them in the group chat last night, saying that filming would start next week. She couldn't help but speak up. Hez being serious about this. Xia Yudong was about to say something else. When she spotted Lu Ruyan, she couldn't help but scream.
Lu Ruyan.
I'm a huge fan. Can I have your autograph? Lu Ruyan glanced at her. She didn't take the pen and notebook being held out. Her face lacked its usual signature smile. You're not worthy of being my fan. Sun Jinglin was also a bit excited. But seeing Jia Yudong get rejected, she didn't dare to offer the notebook she had pulled out. She clutched it tightly, staring at her without blinking. Sister Ruyan, why are you here? Lu Ruyan glanced at her, snatched the small notebook from her hand, pulled a pen from her bag, and signed her name. Then she smiled and handed it back. You'll find out very soon. Long after Lu Ruyan had walked away, Xia Yudong finally snapped out of it.
What did she mean by that?
Is she joining our company? Chu, Muqing guessed. Could she be planning to play the female lead in Muchen's movie? Xia Yudong's face was full of disbelief. How is that possible? She's so famous. Any random movie she does pays tens of millions. Why would she take a low-budget film with no guarantees? Chu, Muqing muttered, but she only gave her autograph to Sun Jinglin just now. I followed Gu Qinghan to the office. While Gu Qinghan worked, I took out my phone, intending to delegate the search for the leads.
To buy Ningbing.
My phone rang. Lu Ruyan had sent me a message. Hey, I heard you're planning to make a movie. I replied, yeah. Lu Ruyan asked immediately, can I be in it? I froze, intending to explain clearly. The movie I'm making isn't a traditional TV show or film. The starting point is very low, and the requirements are minimal. After hitting send, I felt a cold gaze from Gu Qinghan. I immediately switched my phone to vibrate. Lu Ruyan was persistent. So, can I act in it? I continued to try and dissuade her. You could, but it would be a waste of your talent. I have better plans for you. Lu Ruyan was firm. I want to do it. Didn't you say I'd have full control over my choices? I had to remind her, there's not much pay, the schedule is tight, and the other actors are all rookies with no experience. Lu Ruyan didn't care at all.
Yeah, I know.
I sighed. You know all that, and you still want to do it. Lu Ruyan sent a confirmation.
Anything my big brother has his eye on must be good.
I can't miss out? Heh. Who was it that said I had no eye for talent yesterday? I only signed her because I wanted to save her. Because she was so much like my real self. I didn't want her to end up like she did in the book, committing suicide in total despair. Right now, the most important thing is her happiness. I don't even care how much money she makes for the company. She wanted to act, so I agreed. With Lu Ruyan as the female lead, her fan base will definitely make this a hit. If I can't find a male lead, maybe I should just step up myself. That way, once the movie blows up, when my parents talk about their son in the future, they'll actually have something to brag about. Besides, if I'm in the movie, I could kiss all the beauties in the entertainment industry and admire all their long legs. I held my phone, lost in my happy thoughts. Then I accidentally met Gu Qinghan's icy gaze. I immediately wiped the smile off my face. Gu Qinghan gave me a cold look.
Go pour me a glass of water.
The water dispenser was right next to us. I stood up and poured her a glass of cold water. Gu Qinghan glanced at it. I want hot water. I downed the water in the disposable cup in one go. I looked at Gu Qinghan, then tossed the cup into the trash. I went back and poured her a cup of boiling water. Gu Qinghan frowned in disgust. I don't use disposable cups. I grit my teeth, trying to keep my cool. Then where's your cup? Gu Qinghan gave a cold snort. Suddenly, I'm not thirsty anymore. I looked at her, my fists clenching. Gu Qinghan let out a cold laugh.
Losing your patience already.
I forced out a smile.
I wouldn't dare.
Gu Qinghan didn't give me a break. Go downstairs and buy me a coffee. I was smarter this time. I smiled and asked.
What flavor do you want?
Gu Qinghan stopped writing and looked up at me.
What flavors are there?
I replied instantly. I'll go down and check for you. Once I got downstairs, I took a photo of the menu and sent it to her. But Gu Qinghan didn't reply at all. So I bought one of every single flavor. I swiped her card and asked the cafe staff to bring them up. Gu Qinghan was standing up, getting ready for a meeting. When she saw me walk in, behind me was a staff member carrying dozens of cups of coffee. I pointed at the pile of coffee. Every flavor is right here. My smile was as fake as it gets. Gu Qinghan glanced at me, then casually picked up one cup.
Clean up the office.
The office is already spotless. What is there to clean? I grabbed a cup for myself, distributed the rest to the executive office staff, then sat down in the CEO's office and opened my stock trading app. I used my maximum personal limit to buy shares of Zhaifeng Pharmaceutical. After that, I went back to writing the script. When Gu Qinghan returned from her meeting, she saw me sitting cross-legged on the sofa. My fingers were flying across the laptop keys. At that speed, even someone like her who used a computer all year couldn't type that fast. Since he can't go out and flirt, he must be taking his frustration out on the keyboard. She loosened her tie. She went back to her desk, sat down, and leaned back to look at me. Pour me a glass of water. I was in the zone when she interrupted me. I grit my teeth, snapped my laptop shut, and walked over. I smiled broadly, but the warmth didn't reach my eyes. Do you want hot water or cold water? After a pause, I couldn't help but add, or would you prefer some of my saliva? Gu Qinghan's face instantly darkened. She curled her lip coldly. Take a guess. My fingers tapped on her desk. I'll guess then. I walked around the desk, leaning in close with a lecherous look. I thought she would push me away like last time, but Gu Qinghan just gave me a cold stare. She seemed to have realized that I wouldn't actually do anything to her. She wasn't afraid at all. I sat right down on her lap. I felt Gu Qinghan's body stiffen up instantly. The look on her face was priceless, a mix of shock and anger. Her palms gripped the armrests tightly. She was clearly trying to suppress something. Seeing her disgusted made my mood improve instantly. I traced circles on her chest with my finger. The coffee I just drank had milk in it. Want a taste? Gu Qinghan glared at me, her face turning a dark shade of red. Get off! I leaned into her ear and whispered, all I'm good for is rolling around in bed. I'm no different from a thirsty old man. Gu Qinghan reached out to push me away. I wrapped my arms around her neck. I wanted to take this chance to really gross her out, so that she'd be traumatized every time she saw me from now on. Suddenly, the office door was pushed open. Shu Yao hurriedly covered her face with her documents. I didn't see anything. Please, carry on. It'll come back later. Gu Qinghan shoved my hands off and pushed me away. She straightened her clothes. Before Shu Yao could close the door, she called her back. Get back in here. Shu Yao kept her head down, afraid of seeing something she shouldn't.
Yes, President Gu.
I stood to the side, smoothing my hair. Gu Qinghan picked up her pen to sign, her cold gaze sweeping over me. What are you still standing there for? I looked at her, intentionally twisting her words.
Fine. I'll go wait for you in bed then.
Gu Qinghan's face had just barely cooled down, before it turned a shade of livid green again.
What did she just hear?
Is she going to lose her head for this? She stole a quick glance. Gu Qinghan's teeth were grinding audibly. Stop daydreaming in broad daylight. There is a kitchen in the back. Go cook. I had no choice but to turn and head inside.
That's when I realized there wasn't just a kitchen.
There was also a video conference room, a lounge, and a bathroom. It was clear Gu Qinghan spent a lot of time here. I took a quick look around before opening the fridge. There weren't any vegetables inside. I was about to head out when I saw Chen Zhe arrive. I quickly backed away. Chen Zhe glanced at Gu Qinghan. He placed the bag in his hand on our desk. My mom made this herself after she was discharged. She insisted I bring some over for you to try. Gu Qinghan took a look.
How is her health?
Chen Zhe replied gently. She's recovering well. Her spirits are high, and she's eating and sleeping fine. Chen Zhe looked at her, his eyes full of hidden affection.
When are you free?
My mom keeps mentioning it. She wants to invite you over for a meal, to thank you for your help when she was hospitalized. Gu Qinghan replied indifferently. I'll visit her when I have some time. Chen Zhe fidgeted with his fingers, not knowing what to say. Ever since his drunken confession, he hadn't stopped overthinking her attitude, but she acted as if nothing had happened. If she didn't care about him, then what was all that special care she'd shown him for so long? But if she did care about him, why was there no response at all? And why go shopping with me and release such intimate photos? With her current power, did she really still need to fear the Mu family? He understood her less and less. Gu Qinghan broke the silence. Are you busy? If you have work, go do it. If not, stay for lunch. Chen Zhe was a bit slow to react, rubbing his forehead. I'm off for the next few days, so I'm not busy. The next second, he heard her look coldly at me.
Eavesdropped enough. If you're done, go buy some groceries.
I had been listening intently. Hearing that, I had no choice but to come out. Chen Zhe instinctively looked toward the back. He saw me walking out from the inner rooms. His palms instantly clenched. He thought she was taking him out to lunch, just the two of them. He didn't expect her to want me to cook for him. It was as if she was officially recognizing me as her husband. I greeted Chen Zhe enthusiastically. I'll go get the groceries now. You two take your time chatting. I saved my files, grabbed my phone, and headed out. Chen Zhe bit his lip and looked at Gu Qinghan.
You go ahead with your work.
I'm going to use the restroom.
A few minutes later, he sent a message to Gu Qinghan. Wu Zhikai just called me for a meeting. I'm leaving now.
Let's do lunch another time.
I went on a shopping spree at the supermarket. Gu Qinghan told me to cook for Chen Zhe. The original Mu Chen would have definitely made a scene, but I'm different. I just want to play matchmaker. I hope they hit it off like a house on fire. I bought vegetables and a ton of snacks. I was planning to feed Chen Zhe, but when I carried the 2 large bags back to the office, I found Gu Qinghan all alone. Where's Zhe? Gu Qinghan glanced at me, calling him Z so affectionately. Have you forgotten how you used to treat him? I placed a bag of snacks on the desk. I really regret treating him that way in the past.
That's why I want to be good to him now.
These are the snacks I bought for him. Give them to him when he gets back later. Gu Qinghan glanced at the snacks on the table, then looked up at me. There were tiny beads of sweat on my forehead, but there wasn't a hint of fakery or annoyance toward Chen Zhe on my face. She indifferently looked away and gave her tie a slight tug. Has gone. My voice suddenly spiked. Gone. Why did you let him leave? Gu Qinghan looked up and gave me a cold stare. Now that Chen Zhe was gone, I acted upset and even snapped at her. Did you say something to piss him off? Or did you fail to explain that trending topic from yesterday clearly? He misunderstood. Or did he confess to you and you still haven't given him an answer? My heart is so tired. The progress between this lead couple is agonizingly slow.
When will I ever get out of this?
I practically want to hold their hands and teach them how to fall in love. But this crazy woman won't listen to a word I say. Gyu Ching-han slammed her pen down on the desk. Since when is my business any of your concern? Go cook dinner. Seeing how unbothered she looked, I had no choice but to grit my teeth and carry the groceries into the kitchen. The male lead already confessed. Logically, this crazy woman should be putting divorce on the schedule by now, but she clearly has no intention of doing that. Shez, so calm, yet she suddenly put me on the trending search list. Coming to the company and making everyone think our relationship is great. It seems her hidden agenda to take down the Mew family is quite intense. She has that protagonist aura. Bai Ningbing couldn't find any leads on her end. So, can I make a move from her side instead? I cooked 3 dishes. With the best attitude possible, I invited Gu Ching-han to eat. Meanwhile, I caught a glimpse of the documents on her desk. In the afternoon, while Gu Ching-han was in a meeting, I started secretly flipping through the files on her desk. I flipped through them, but they were all just standard reports and approvals. While Gu Ching-han was still out, I went back to writing my script. The next day, Gu Ching-han forced me to go to the company with her again. The only silver lining was that around 10 in the morning, I saw news that Gu Group was about to acquire Zifeng Pharmaceuticals. When I checked my brokerage account, trading for the stock had been suspended. Perfect. I successfully bought in right before the surge. I couldn't find any useful info in her office. So I used Gu Ching-han's money to buy milk tea and snacks for the CEO's office staff to build some rapport. Work should be a balance of labor and rest. You're all my wife's right-hand people. The company's growth wouldn't be possible without your hard work. This is just a small token of my appreciation. So please, don't be shy. Before, the CEO's husband wouldn't have given them a second glance. Usually, when I caused a scene at the office, they'd get scolded just for sneaking a peek at the drama. Now, Im bringing them food and acting all approachable. No one dared to say much. They just politely accepted. I took the initiative to strike up a conversation. How many years have you been working here? 2 years. A handsome guy like you? Do you have a girlfriend yet?
Not yet.
I'll introduce someone to you one of these days. The others immediately chimed in. Has already got someone. Brother-in-law? Im's single too. Anyone the CEO's husband introduces couldn't possibly be bad. Everyone was clamoring for a chance. Gu Ching-hen returned from outside. She saw me leaning against a man's desk, chatting away with everyone. If he can't flirt with women outside, he comes to her company to do it. She coldly asked Shu Yao, who was following behind her. Is the CEO's office always this idle? Shu Yao tapped the doorframe with her documents. Everything that needs to be done is finished. I turned around and saw Gu Ching-han. She was glaring at me with a freezing expression. Get out here! Now, I smiled and waved goodbye to everyone. Then I followed Gu Ching-han back into the office. Gu Ching-han sat in her office chair and loosened her tie. She shot me a cold look. Should I just arrange a position for you in the CEO's office? I glanced at her. The CEO's office is the first to know everything happening in the company. I'd love to, but this crazy woman is clearly being sarcastic. I'll do whatever you say, honey. I'm just a brick in your wall. Wherever you want to move me, that's where I'll go. Gu Ching-han laughed out of pure frustration, pulling her tie completely off. The top button of her shirt popped open. She looked a bit disheveled, but it gave her a wild edge. Honestly, it was pretty damn sexy. The next second, I heard Gu Ching-han bark an order. I want dumplings for lunch. Handmade. From scratch. I forced a smile through gritted teeth. Why don't you just eat me? I'm all natural. Gu Ching-han shot me a look. Then go jump in the pot and boil yourself. I ground my teeth. Fine. Going. Dumplings are one thing, but demanding they be handmade. I felt like mincing her up to use as the filling. But being threatened right now. Pissing her off won't end well for me. Gu Ching-han just doesn't want me to have a moment's peace. Before she went out in the afternoon, she warned me again. Stay put in this office and behave. If I catch you bothering people while they're working again. For several days, Gu Ching-han forced me to follow her to the office every day. My range of movement was restricted to her office. I couldn't go anywhere. Everything had to be handled over the phone. Luckily, Gu Ching-han was very busy, so her time to torment me was limited. I managed to write 2 more scripts, but the short film is about to start shooting. As the male lead, I'm stuck being dragged to the office by Gu Ching-han every day. I can't go anywhere, and I'm starting to get anxious. In the afternoon, I sat on the sofa, watching Gu Ching-han handle her work, thinking of a way to make her never want to see my face again. She clearly hates me, yet she drags me to the office every day just to torment me. Talk about a kill 1,000 enemies but lose 800 of your own strategy. Maybe I should pull a desperate move too. Gu Ching-han happened to look up. She saw me staring right at her. One moment I was frowning. The next I was gritting my teeth. Then I was smiling. She let out a cold snort. Cooking up another scheme. Is that brain of yours even enough? Do you need to borrow some of mine? Just then, Gu Ching-han's phone rang. She glanced at me and answered a call from her mother. Your sister and her family are coming back today. Bring Zhao Chen over for dinner tonight. Gu Ching-han hated taking me back to the family home for dinner more than anything. In their eyes, I'm the only son of the Mew family. Marrying me was considered a huge win for her. In the future, Everything belonging to the Mew family would be hers. Every time we went back, they'd nag her to treat me better. They didn't care at all whether she actually liked me. After hanging up, she glanced at me. We're going to the family home for dinner tonight. Hearing about dinner at the family home felt like a godsend. My eyes lit up instantly. That look was exactly like the old me whenever I heard we were going back. Gyu Qinghan saw it, and her gaze faltered for a moment. I stood up, full of excitement to head out. I'll go buy some gifts. Gyu Qinghan narrowed her eyes and loosened her tie a bit. No need. Just sit your ass down and stay put. Going to the family home was the highlight of the original owner's life, because her parents were very satisfied with me as a son-in-law. They always took my side at home. Every time we went, I'd show up at the company early, just to wait for her to get off work, so we could go together. All so I could hold her arm when we walked into the house. Just for that brief moment of intimacy where she wouldn't push me away. That was also when Gyu Qinghan found me the most disgusting. Tonight, I plan to gross her out to death. I'll make her so repulsed that she'll be too scared to even look at me. At 5:30 p.m., the car pulled up at the Gu family residence. I walked right up and grabbed her hand. Fingers interlaced, skin on skin. This kind of disgusting intimacy is the real killer. Sure enough, the moment I grabbed her hand, Gyu Qinghan's fingers went stiff. She stopped and looked at me, looking like she wanted to yank her hand back. I gripped tighter, even rubbing the back of her hand with my thumb. I don't want to do this either, but your mom is watching. Mother Gu came out to greet us with a wide smile. Qinghan. Seeing our hands locked together, her smile grew even wider. I took the opportunity to wrap my arm around Gyu Qinghan's waist, leaning my head against her. Mom! We were in a rush today. We didn't have time to buy gifts for you and Dad. My body pressed against hers through the thin fabric. Gyu Qinghan's entire body tensed up. The scent of my shampoo wafted into her nose. She swallowed hard. I could feel how much I was grossing her out, so I intentionally nuzzled into her chest. I have to admit, this woman's figure and waist. Damn, we have everything we need at home. Seeing you two getting along so well is the best gift for us. Mother Gu couldn't stop grinning at our display of affection. Before, every time I came back, it'd be loaded down with bags. But the news always reached her that Gyu Qinghan treated me poorly. She used to be worried sick. Come inside, everyone's waiting for you. Mother Gu didn't want to interrupt our private moment. She hurried inside to share the good news. Gyu Qinghan looked down at me with a cold, sharp glare. Are you done touching me? I used to crave her body, but I had the pride of a wealthy young master. I wouldn't be this shamelessly forward. At most, it'd hold her arm and look at her with puppy eyes. But now I'm acting like a starved predator. Yet, there isn't a shred of actual affection in my eyes. Like a playboy wandering through a forest of flowers, moving from woman to woman. A dissolute man with no strings attached. I wanted to touch her more, but she pushed me away. I toyed with my fingers, feeling a bit regretful. Even though I'm taking advantage of the situation, it's not for nothing. Look at how happy your mother was just now. Gyu Qinghan shot me a cold glare and strode inside with her long legs. Dinner was ready, so we sat down as soon as we entered. Naturally, I sat right next to Gyu Qinghan. I peeked at the dishes on the table, and my mood improved instantly. Mother Gu had always treated me very well. She immediately rotated the best dishes toward me. Chen, try this hairy crab. Your sister brought them back. They're authentic Yangcheng Lake hairy crabs. I didn't hold back, placing one right in front of Gyu Qinghan. Honey, peel this for me. My wrists are sore. It's not convenient. Usually, it was the original owner who took care of Gyu Qinghan during meals, picking up food for her, pouring her tea, handing her napkins. It was rare for Gyu Qinghan to ever serve me. As soon as I said that, everyone at the table looked over. Gyu Qinghan glared at me, a thin, mocking smile touching her lips. I'll peel it for you. Or why don't you just skip the meal and let me hand feed you? Mother Gus' face immediately darkened. Qinghan, what kind of tone is that? Chen is your husband. What's wrong with peeling a crab for him? I played the part of the sensible husband, reaching for the crab. If you don't want to, it's fine. I don't have to eat it. Mother Gu gave Gyu Qinghan a warning look. Chen, leave it there. Gyu Qinghan gave me a long, deep look before finally starting to peel the crab for me. I ate it and kept praising how delicious it was. Mother Gu rotated the plate of crabs back to us. Qinghan, peel another one for Chen. I looked at Gyu Qinghan, my eyes full of the provocation of someone who knows they're the favorite. Wifey, I want another one. Gyu Qinghan shot me a look, barely suppressing her rage. As I watched her peel the crab, I rubbed my foot against her leg under the table. Slowly tracing up her calf, inch by inch, Gyu Qinghan looked up, gritting her teeth as she stared at me. I acted like I didn't notice, staring back at her as if I couldn't get enough, and continued. I wasn't scared. Her hands were busy with the crab. She couldn't do anything to me. I went all out during this meal just to disgust her. After dinner, seeing how close we were, Mother Gu was delighted. She happily called us over to the sofa to talk. Qinghan, you've been married for 2 years now, and now that you're getting along better, isn't it time to think about having a child? She won't even let me touch her. How the hell am I supposed to have a kid with her? I didn't hesitate, taking the chance to grab Gyu Qinghan's hand. I started fiddling with her fingers. Mom, one isn't enough. We've already discussed it. We've decided to have an entire football team. Gu Qinghan looked down and glared at me. I was about to take it a step further to gross her out, but Gu Qinghan wrapped her arm around my waist, pulled me tight against her, and smirked. Mom, it's getting late. Well, head out now so we can get to work on giving you a granddaughter soon. With that, she pulled me up and led me out. I realized this woman had reached her breaking point. I was in a great mood. Once we were out in the hall, I kept adding fuel to the fire. I felt her waist, acting like I was eager for intimacy. Were you serious about what you said? Gu Qinghan looked down at me, a dark storm brewing in the depths of her eyes. It looked like a hurricane was about to hit. I was all set for her to shove me away. Instead, the woman's lips curled into a smirk. If that's what you want. Before I knew it, Gu Qinghan pinned me against a pillar in the hallway. She locked her lips onto mine in a crushing kiss, biting and devouring, as violent as a raging storm. My eyes widened in pure disbelief. My head was spinning. Wasn't she disgusted? Wasn't she at her limit? What the hell is happening? My reflex was to push her away, but she just let out a mocking laugh. Didn't you want a whole football team? Gu Qinghan grabbed my wrists and pressed them against her waist. Her voice was full of mockery, as if she'd seen right through me.
Don't you like touching me?
Gu Qinghan bit my lip with a hint of cruelty. Why are you freezing up? Weren't you acting so bold just a moment ago? My lip was bitten open, and the metallic taste of blood snapped me back to reality. I forced myself not to panic. I had to stay calm. She's disgusted by me. She is practically allergic to me. If Shay's willing to kill 1,000 to lose 800, what the hell am I afraid of? Did she think I wouldn't dare? Did she think I was all talk? I just didn't expect you to actually agree. I'm so surprised, so shocked. I wanted to see if it was really you. I couldn't lose the battle of wills, so I met her kiss with my own brand of roughness. I used one hand to pull her shirt out of her skirt and slid my hand underneath. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. My soft lips met her cold, stiff ones. My firm hand rested against her toned collarbone. Gu Qinghan's body went rigid. I became even more brazen. Firm muscles, clear lines, she felt incredible to the touch. Before I could feel more, Gu Qinghan grabbed my wrist and shoved me away. Her expression was hideous. The emotion in her eyes was like erupting lava. She gave me a long, piercing look. Did you really think I'd let you touch me? With that, she turned and left, her fast strides carrying a chilling aura. I watched her leave me behind and drive off, unable to stop myself from laughing.
I won.
That woman was disgusted to death. Gu Qinghan went to a club and poured herself a drink. She downed it in one go and immediately poured another. A few people gathered around curiously, and Su Jingyao teased her. Qinghan, are you not allowed to drink at home anymore? Zhou Jingyao sized her up. Her clothes were disheveled, and she hadn't even wiped off her lipstick. It didn't look like she was forbidden from drinking. It looked more like she couldn't satisfy Mu Chen's needs, like Song Qingwan fleeing from a bed looking absolutely pathetic. Gu Qinghan shot a cold look at each of them.
All of you, get the hell out.
Zhou Jingyao, not fearing death, continued. Looks like I hit the nail on the head. Su Jingyao suggested. It's not that big of a deal. It'll help you find some supplements another day. I guarantee. Before she could finish, Gu Qinghan hurled a bottle of wine. The bottle shattered, and the room went dead silent. The three of them watched in silence as she downed another glass. Gu Qinghan unbuttoned her collar and gave them a frigid glare. Let me make this clear. I do not like him. Don't you ever mention him in front of me again? Hez the man who brought her nothing but humiliation, the person she hates most. She only wants revenge. How could she possibly like me? The three of them looked at her, then at each other, and left in silence. Su Jingyao raised her glass. Let's just drink. Zhou Jingyao chimed in. Let's drink. Song Qingwan also raised her glass. Let's drink. I was dropped off by the Gu family driver and realized Gu Qinghan wasn't back yet. I took a shower and went to bed. When I woke up and checked my phone, there was no call from Gu Qinghan. Only a message from Lu Ruyan sent a few minutes ago. Hey, we start filming tomorrow.
When are you coming to the set?
I replied, today?
Lu Ruyan immediately asked,
What time? I'll come help you with your luggage.
Filming as the male and female leads. Just thinking about it makes me a bit excited. I got up, tidied up, and packed my bags. Driving for over 2 hours is exhausting. I just hailed a taxi and it pulled up in front of the hotel. I paid the fare, got out, and grabbed my bags from the trunk. Lu Ruyan seemed to have been waiting. She ran over immediately. She was wearing a hat and a mask. Seeing the trunk open, she stepped in to help right away.
Let me help you with that.
Saving this girl wasn't for nothing. I didn't stand on ceremony with her. Have you finished reading the script? Lu Ruyan followed me, pulling my luggage. I've finished it. Her eyes were practically glued to me. I've never seen a script like this before. I really like it. Isn't it just another cheesy romance? It is a romance, but the idea of living life over again is very special.
Lu Ruyan looked at me.
Remembering how aggressive Gu Qinghan had been with me last time, if life really could be done over.
Would you still choose to marry Gu Qinghan?
I gave her a bright smile. If I really could do it all over again.
I definitely wouldn't give up the whole forest for a single tree.
Lu Ruyan glanced at me. It sounds like you regret marrying her. I looked back at her. Who doesn't have regrets in life? Regret isn't the scary part. What's scary is drowning in that regret and forgetting the better version of yourself waiting ahead. Her dream was to be a painter, but her parents chose the path of acting for her. Shes spent all these years drowning in regret. That's part of why her depression became so severe.
Lu Ruyan looked at me, feeling like there was an aura around me.
Completely different from the rumors. She felt very comfortable talking to me. Before we knew it, we were at her door. She took out her key card and showed it to me.
This is my room.
Yours is right across from mine. Call me if you need anything. By the time I finished tidying my room, it was almost noon. Thinking about Liu Ruyan's depression, I invited her to lunch. I planned to look out for her more while we were on set. I invited her along for every meal. The next day, the two of us arrived at the filming location together. A handsome man and a beautiful woman, we immediately drew everyone's attention. Mu Chen arrived with Liu Ruyan.
Is he seriously here to act?
Act. Hez, not even a professional. With zero experience, is his acting even going to be watchable? I bet he's just got his eyes on Lu Ruyan, investing in his own movie just to star in it. He's just using it as an excuse to take advantage of her. I heard there are quite a few kissing scenes. Sigh. That's the power of money for you. If I had that kind of cash, I'd play the game like that too. Who doesn't love a young starlet? No one thought a guy like me, who's always surrounded by women, would actually know how to act. I didn't care about the eyes on me. The pointing, the gossiping, it didn't matter. After the opening ceremony, it was time for makeup, styling, and filming. I started working when I was 18. I've sold drinks at bars, delivered food, worked in sales, and even did background extra work. Besides, I've already seen this movie, so I know exactly how to play the part. While we were filming, I would occasionally
offer some advice and guidance to my co-stars.
Most of my scenes were with Lu Ruyan. Lu Ruyan is an experienced actress, and seeing a newcomer like me with such rich experience and no stage fright at all, she was impressed. During our breaks, I could see a hint of curiosity growing in her eyes. Seeing me using the script as a makeshift fan, she took out her small electric fan, turned it on, and handed it to me. Here, use this. I came in such a rush that I didn't even think to bring one of these. It was so hot that I didn't stand on ceremony. I took it and let the breeze hit my face, which was flushed from the heat. I'll buy one for myself later. Lu Ruyan spoke up. You can have this one. I have another. Lu Ruyan looked at me, her eyes sparkling like stars. You're nothing like the rumors, I chuckled. That's why you can't believe everything you hear? After cooling myself down, I pointed the fan toward her face. Aren't you hot too?
Lu Ruyan acted as if it were nothing.
I'm used to it. The people around us began to whisper. Shh, look at that. This isn't acting. They're clearly using the movie as an excuse to date in public. Didn't he used to say he loved Gu Qinghan more than life itself? There's no such thing as true love in wealthy families. Look at him flirting with Lu Ruyan. He really doesn't give a damn about Gu Qinghan anymore. Inside the CEO's office at the Gu Group, Gu Qinghan finished her work and rubbed her temples. Pour me a glass of water. When no one responded, she instinctively looked up. Only then did she realize I wasn't there. My face immediately flashed through her mind, along with the warmth of my fingertips and the softness of my lips from last night. She reached up to loosen her tie just as her phone rang. She opened it to find a photo. In the picture, I was holding a small electric fan, blowing it toward Lu Ruyan with a bright smile on my face. Lu Ruyan was looking at me with a glimmer in her eyes and a hint of shyness on her face. A message was sent. The leads of my new movie, How's the Chemistry? Gu Qinghan replied.
It's terrible.
After replying, she tossed her phone aside. Acting as if she hadn't seen anything, she opened her laptop and went back to work. The first day of filming went very smoothly. By the time we finished, it was already 8 in the evening. The director gave them some promotional photos. The original owner's account had several million followers. Many were anti-fans just waiting to see me make a fool of myself. Another portion followed. For the giveaways I occasionally hosted to show off my relationship. Those fake fans praised me every day. I deleted all the old posts where I had expressed my love for Gu Qinghan. Then, I posted a promotional update.
Lu Ruyan had over 20 million fans.
So the post hit the trending searches almost instantly. Lu Ruyan's new movie. Shocker. Mu Chen is acting.
Lu Ruyan and Mu Chen.
The fans were losing it. Is this that rich brat Mu Chen? The one who spends all day chasing Gu Qinghan around. He thinks he can act. If he can act, then I can win an Oscar for Best Actor. There are rumors that Gu Qinghan likes Chen Zhe. Mu Chen entering the entertainment industry. Could he be trying to compete with Chen Zhe by stealing his popular on-screen partner? She started as a child actress with no background and worked her way up. Lu Ruyan only achieved this much through hard work, and now she has to star opposite a guy who only knows how to cling to Gu Qinghan. Has a national laughingstock who can't do anything. The fans were collectively outraged on Lu Ruyan's behalf. Some fans couldn't take it and sent me private messages, though they tried to stay somewhat polite. Mu Chen, could you please look in a mirror? You're so talented that our girl isn't even worthy of being your supporting act. You're so distinguished that my girl's status isn't even enough to play your sidekick. You deserve someone better. At least a Best Actress winner would be a match for you. Mu Chen, they say, there's a master in every trade. Bro, can you please not come and mess around in the entertainment industry? Showbiz doesn't deserve your noble aura. Mu Chen, is the Mu family going bankrupt or something? If you're short on cash, I'll donate some to you. A young master should stay home and be a young master. Why come out and work so hard for money? I stayed silent and didn't reply to anyone. So, everyone started messaging Gu Qinghan with a unified slogan. Please take your husband home. Don't let him embarrass you in the entertainment industry anymore. Su Jingyao shared the trending topic in the group chat. Is the sun rising in the west? Mu Chen is actually acting. Chu Jingyao chimed in, starring opposite a young starlet. Song Qingwan speculated. Maybe he thinks Qinghan is getting old and wants to chase this young girl instead. Su Jingyao quickly tried to keep the peace. Let's not talk about him anymore. Gu Qinghan tossed her phone aside. First they bring him up. Then they say, don't talk about him. Is everyone crazy? I kept my acting gig a secret from the family. I didn't even tell Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing saw the trending search and immediately video called me. I had just finished showering and was drying my hair when I answered. You're acting? Why didn't you tell me beforehand? Bai Ningbing looked at me through the screen. I could see it in her eyes. A deep gaze trying to read me, hiding her displeasure. I casually dried my hair. I just wanted to give you a surprise. Bai Ningbing stared at me in silence, suppressed emotions pooling in her eyes. I don't want that kind of surprise. Then what do you want? Wait until I make some money and I'll buy it for you. I smiled at her, my tone a bit coaxing. Bai Ningbing visibly brightened up.
I want to spend every cent you earn.
I let out a soft chuckle. Ha! Bye! I hung up, and then my mom called. Chen, why on earth did you go into acting? If you need money, just tell me. Our family has plenty. My parents always complained that I didn't earn much, yet they were always worried I wasn't living well and kept sending me money. This love made the day's exhaustion fade away a little. Mom, I'm not short on money. I just wanted to be like other kids and earn some money for my parents to spend. Hearing how sensible I had become, Wen Yudong felt a lump in her throat and her eyes grew red.
Oh, my son.
Your father and I have money. You don't need to work so hard to earn it, I said playfully.
Mom, you're spoiling me too much.
What kind of grown man?
Just sits at home all day being a parasite. Just wait, Mom. Once I make it big, I'll let Dad retire and take you on a trip around the world. Wen Yudong had the phone on speaker. Mu Zhenjiang, who was reading a magazine nearby, heard me. He pushed up his glasses and laughed heartily. All right, I'll be waiting. After filming all day, I went straight to sleep after the call. I completely ignored the trending topics the informant sent me. Meanwhile, seeing everyone online slandering me, Lu Ruyan couldn't help but post a clarification in her fan group. I took this role voluntarily because the script is truly amazing. Mu Chen is a great guy, and his acting is excellent. Please trust me. Just wait for the movie to come out. 9 out of 10 times I hit the trending searches. It was because I used my family's wealth and power to act out of jealousy or bully others. The idea that I was kind, had never studied acting, had no experience, yet was excellent. The fans didn't buy it for a second. Girl, if you're being kidnapped, just say the word. I'll call the police for you. Your account must be under the company's control. The Mu family is bullying you like this. They really have no respect for us fans. No one believed her. Lu Ruyan was forced to post the chat logs of her asking me for the role. After seeing the screenshots, the fans became even more suspicious. This has to be photoshopped. Our girl isn't a bootlicker. There is no way shed flatter Mu Chen like this. Our girl begging to star with Mu Chen. Could you make the Photoshop any more ridiculous? Our girl is so pitiful. The company is completely trashing her reputation and image just for Mu Chen.
Lu Ruyan got anxious and started a live stream.
I wasn't forced and no one took over my account. The fans continued to wail. Girl, are you being forced to say this? Blink twice if you are. Sob. Poor thing. Don't be afraid, your Tianye fans are always here for you. In the morning, I called Lu Ruyan for breakfast. I was startled by the dark circles under her eyes. What were you doing last night? Thinking about her depression, I couldn't help but search her face for any signs. Just insomnia. Lu Ruyan looked at me and saw I was in high spirits and glowing. Completely unaffected by the online drama, she touched her head. No, I just stayed up a bit late playing on my phone. I glanced at her as we walked. You film all day and you're not tired. You still have the energy to play on your phone.
Okay.
While eating breakfast, I finally checked the news. I saw the trending topic about Lu Ruyan responding 3 times in a row. Our girl has been in the industry for years. How many times has she even responded to Mu Chen? What kind of luck does he have to be favored 3 times in one night? It's obvious Shay's being coerced. The company is forcing her to lie just to hype up Mu Chen. Just thinking about her having to smile and say those ridiculous compliments about Mu Chen breaks my heart. It seriously hurts. I'm so mad I can't sleep. I want to hit someone. The comment section was mostly filled with doubt. They thought the chat history Lu Ruyan posted was photoshopped. They thought her account was being controlled. Even during the live stream, the fans believed she was being forced by the company to say those things. The more she tried to help me, the more the fans resented me. My private messages exploded with people defending Lu Ruyan. Lu Ruyan looked at me worriedly. Mu Chen, please stop looking at your phone. I put the phone down and looked at her. Did you stay up late trying to clear my name? Lu Ruyan looked at me with a bit of embarrassment. Her soulful puppy eyes were tinged with self-reproach. I didn't expect that trying to help would only make things worse. I thought if I said it, they would believe me, but I gave her a comforting smile. I'm really happy that you stood up for me like that. After a pause, I continued, but don't do it again. I don't care at all about what they say about me. Your well-being is much more important to me than any of that. A smile immediately broke across Lu Ruyan's face. These dark circles will disappear once I put on makeup. I promise it won't affect the filming. I nodded.
Eat up.
Lu Ruyan took 2 sips of porridge but couldn't help looking up at me again. Mu Chen, I messed things up. Do you really not blame me? I laughed. Who said you messed up? Because of your responses. The whole internet thinks you're being coerced. They're probably all waiting for the movie to come out just to prove I'm a joke. We have the buzz and the anticipation. And it didn't cost a dime. ID'd. Give your marketing skills a perfect score. Lu Ruyan was overjoyed. Really, her face lit up with the pure joy of being praised. A kid is still a kid. They love being complimented. After breakfast, the 2 of them headed to the set. Another busy day of filming began. Lu Ruyan and I were filming a scene of jealousy and emotional tension. A luxury car pulled up not far away. Bai Ningbing stepped out of the car carrying a bag. She opened the door for Wen Yudong and held up a sun umbrella. Then she instructed the assistant to bring the sweets and drinks they had prepared for everyone to the set. Wen Yudong walked with hurried steps, looking impatient. It's so hot, and there's no air conditioning. How can Chen stand this? He's never had to suffer like this since he was a child. Bai Ningbing replied calmly. He's not stupid. If he felt he was suffering, he'd run away faster than anyone. The fact that he's not running means he's fine. Bai Ningbing followed her at a leisurely pace. Her eyes were already searching for me, and then she saw Liu Ruyan, grabbing my hand and pulling me into her arms.